the NBC television network.
In the State of the Union address, George Bush promised.
For the last two seasons, the Buffalo Bills saw their dreams of Super Bowl glory slip through hopeful hands. The physical pounding the Bills took in last year's loss hardly compared to the emotional burden they've had to carry for the past 7 months. With Super Bowl losses comes a building pressure to finally win one. It can become a pattern. Haunting pictures of Bud Grant and the Vikings remind of continued Super Bowl frustration, as do 3 times denied John Elway. But a new season has come, and no one questions the confidence of quarterback Jim Kelly. His explosive offense features all-pro wide receiver Andre Reed and the seemingly ageless James Lofton. And the NFL's most productive running game, led by 91 NFL Most Valuable Player Thurman Thomas. They're a week from the season opener, and the Bills point positively to Bruce Smith. He's healthy again. He'll play tonight. But can the defending AFC champions overcome those who doubt they'll earn a 3rd Super Bowl chance? Will the 1992 Spirit of Buffalo match the depth of its football talent?
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Tonight, it's the Buffalo Bills versus the Atlanta Falcons.
The spanking new Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, the NFL's newest facility, 71,000 seats to see 2 playoff teams, the Buffalo Bills and Atlanta Falcons of last year that close out the 1992 preseason. We're just a week away from the opener, and we welcome our new partner, Bob Trumpy, who has been carefully edging his way through the NBC alphabet. You had Albert, and you had Costas, and last you had Cricky, and now you're into the E's.
Yeah, well, I thought you forgot the T's, pal.
And we are going to be with you all the way to the Super Bowl in Pasadena in late January, and many are wondering if the Buffalo Bills, the dominant team the last 2 years in the AFC, will be there.
Well, Dick, they're still the dominant team in the AFC. Until somebody steps up, they're my choice to make it back. And I don't think you can put the pressure on the offense of the Buffalo Bills. You can't expect him in 1992 to score 58 touchdowns, Kelly to have the kind of season he had last year, Thomas to rush for 1,000 yards, Reed and Lofton to both go over 1,000 yards. It's not realistic to think that that offense can produce those kind of numbers this year.
Well, it was the NFL's most productive offense last year, but a defense that was next to last.
Yeah, and that's where the responsibility lies. The improvement in the Buffalo Bills, their chance to get back to the Super Bowl is squarely on the shoulders of the defense. Bruce Smith last year missed 11 games. The nose tackle, Jeff Wright, missed 7. Cornelius Bennett unsigned. If they get everybody back, it's the most dominating defense in the AFC. I pick them to repeat.
So we're 9 days away from the opener, and Cornelius Bennett had not signed a contract yet. He is represented by the same agent as Atlanta's Deion Sanders. Sanders of the Atlanta Braves at the moment. And with more on that, we go down to Gail Gardner.
All right, thank you, Dick, very much. I had a chance just a little while ago to talk with Falcons president Taylor Smith, and he said that Deion Sanders never had any intention of leaving the Braves, that he really felt an obligation to see them through this season because they are obviously a playoff-bound team. Now, the situation was that they were hoping they could work something out with Eugene Parker and with the Braves where they could kind of share him for a while, and they actually had come to a conclusion where they could give him up for 2 weeks for the playoffs and for the World Series. But the problem was they did not want to pay Deion Sanders for those 2 weeks. And that's where we got in trouble. When the money came up, they were in trouble. Sanders said, I've had enough of this. This is hurting me. It's too much tension. My batting average is dropping. I'm going to concentrate on the Braves. So he is staying with the Braves through the end of the season. He will report to the Falcons as soon as the season is over, and they will welcome him with open arms.
All right, Gail. Atlanta will receive Steve Christie, the new Buffalo Bills kicker from William & Mary, acquired from Tampa Bay to kick it. Derek Moore, a rookie from northeastern state of Oklahoma, is deep. It's Moore waiting at the goal line. It to the 21-yard line as the Bills defense comes on the field, and Bruce Smith, number 78, the #1 pick of the draft 7 years ago. And we talked with him this morning, and you couldn't wipe the smile off his face. He says, I'm finally a happy man. I'm healthy.
Yeah, that's bad news for the rest of the NFL, because when this young man is 100%, he is the most dominating defensive lineman, including Reggie White, that you can find in the game. Opponents start every week with looking at Bruce Smith and say, this week, this is how we block Bruce Smith. He feels fine. Best he's felt in a year and a half, Dick.
He is wearing a leg brace. He said he'd rather not, but the doctor said it's a good idea, so he is wearing a brace. Chris Miller, the quarterback of Atlanta, comes out throwing and goes long. Almost caught by Tony Jones, a Plan B acquisition from the Houston Oilers. Nate Odoms on the coverage.
Well, they started their opening game with a long touchdown pass. Watch Bruce Smith against Mike Ken, one of the best pass protectors in the history of the league. Bruce Smith, with his first move in 1992, gets pressure on the quarterback.
Meanwhile, at the other end, it was Odoms 37. Tony Jones, who has great speed, was behind him. Remember last week, Sunday against Philadelphia, was Miller to Mike Haynes, 76 yards, a touchdown on the first play of the game here in the Dome. First play of the Atlanta possession. 2nd and 10, inside to Tony Smith, and then he sends outside and picks up about 5 yards. Smith, the #1 pick of the Falcons from Southern Mississippi. Bruce Smith, he said, I was a very unhappy man, a malcontent. I was miserable to be around last year. I admit it, and Ken not exactly making him happy right there.
I thought when Bruce Smith came in this morning to our meeting room with Darryl Talley, and Bruce Smith, you're talking about the smile on his face, and admitted that he was not a happy person. Talley said he was miserable. And the fact that he's back and healthy and happy, he can wreck an offense every week.
Talley, who plays right behind him, he most of all rooting for Smith's well-being. And Tony Smith, the rookie, stacked up by Phil Hansen, and nose tackle Jeff Wright, number 91.
Injury to Jeff Wright. Grabbing his knee last year, missed 7 games because of a knee injury. He looks to the sideline.
Holding that left knee. Wright, one of the top nose tackles in the AFC from Central Missouri State. And the scene that every head coach fears going into the season. Final game of the preseason. They frankly don't care what the scoreboard says. They just hope when they get into the locker room, when the gun sounds, that everyone is healthy. So down goes Jeff Wright, the starting nose tackle. We'll check on his condition when we return.
Oldsmobile redefines quality. Here's proof. Call 1-800-THE-TEST to get independent test results from a 100,000-mile real-world test of the new Oldsmobile Achieva against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. Learn how Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. You'll even get a free video documenting the test. Achieva, quality redefined, from the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Imagine this could be you, one of the lucky winners of the Coors Light Talking Can Sweepstakes. How has winning a fabulous music prize changed their lives?
Not much, but then again, I'm filthy rich.
But the rest of us aren't. So winning a great music prize ain't too shabby. There's still time to win, because hidden inside 12 packs are cans that actually talk and tell you you've won.
You win! Hey, I would open it anyway.
Coors Light Talking Can Sweepstakes. Just open, listen, and win.
You win!
1960s. This whole town's changing. The whole world's changing. And they won't tell you what it means, but I know things are never going to be the same again. I'm never going to be the same again. I mean, when you're 17, you got to figure things out for yourself. You got to make your own rules.
Innocence is lost, and a new spirit begins. I'll Fly Away, Fridays on NBC.
Jeff Wright, nose tackle on this last clear play by the Atlanta Falcons. Nothing special here. He gets by Jamie Duke, the center, but now watch his leg get caught between 2 players and twisted slightly to the outside. We have no physical report yet.
Scott Fulhag, as the Falcons came up short on 4th down, they kick it away. Chris Hale, former Southern California Trojan, at the 23. And the Bills. Kelly, and the Buffalo offense comes aboard. Kelly having an excellent year again last season as he threw for 24 touchdowns has Wolford, Richard, Hull, Parker, and Ballard, his protectors up front. Thurman Thomas, the NFL most valuable player, the yardage leader from scrimmage. Beebe, Lofton, and Reed, 3 wide receivers. Ed Thomas wears Butch Rolls, old number 87 at tight end. Pete Metzelaars is nicked. He'll not play tonight, and Keith McKellar has not as yet signed. Kelly over the middle to Lofton. And the great veteran from Stanford has a Buffalo first down at the 47 on a 17-yard pickup.
36 years old, jumps inside, the coverage by Pickens, 39. You can see the veteran move there by James Lofton. Bump and run does not fool him as they're right back to the line of scrimmage.
No huddle Buffalo. Andre Reed in motion. And give to Kenneth Davis. Davis the backup to Thomas. Very productive out of TCU last year. Gained 624 yards. He's a 30-year-old Plan B acquisition from Green Bay 3 years ago and built a lot like Thomas. Runs hard.
Dick, they have 2 running backs in the game. Now you see Davis flanked out here at the bottom of the screen. Thurman Thomas is the running back. So they have 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 running backs.
So Marv Levy gives his opponents, including the Los Angeles Rams, who will open the season at Buffalo next week, something to think about. Knocked down, incomplete. Darian Connor, number 56, a linebacker from Jackson State. Kenneth Davis, the intended receiver.
An interesting little wrinkle that the offense has come up with here.
Ball right at the 50-yard line. 3rd down, and call it a short 8th. Out of the backfield to Davis, and he is drilled by Jesse Tuggle.
He is the guy on this defense. Linebackers in Jerry Glanville's defense sit very deep, almost 5-6 yards from the line of scrimmage. Takes the direct line to the receiver, Kenneth Davis. An absolute monster as a linebacker, but only 5'11", 230.
Out of the Sam Mills, the New Orleans Saints mold. Yes. Reads very well and loves to hit. Chris Moore's punt, fair catch called, and Atlanta will take it at the 18-yard line as we have a commercial break. 3.5 minutes into the opening quarter.
Just because you go all out doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises. July 1992. Oldsmobile goes further than any other car company to redefine quality. Further than the lab, further than the test track. The Oldsmobile Achieva went 100,000 miles against Honda Accord and Toyota Camry in a real-world test. Independent test results prove Achieva outperformed Accord and Camry in total cost, which includes maintenance, repair, and operating costs. Achieva, quality redefined. From the company that went far enough to prove it. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
Red Devil enamel. You can always count on its durable finish. Harder than ordinary paints, its beauty lasts and lasts. Red Devil enamel for the finish of a lifetime.
Some people may not think I'm the world's greatest actor, but I am the Sarah Bernhardt of car movies. I know cars, and I know Quaker States. Nobody protects your engine better. Against wear, against sludge, Quaker State is one tough motor oil. What?
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. By Foot Locker, America's most complete athletic footwear store, where it all begins. And by Old Spice antiperspirant. For great odor protection, now you've got proof, not promises.
Back back at the Georgia Dome. Chris Miller and the Falcons go to work at the 18. This site will be the scene of the Super Bowl some 19 months from now. Super Bowl 28 in early 1994. Tony Smith to the 21-yard line, a pickup of 3. Mike Lotish, who has replaced Jeff Wright at nose tackle, made the stop. There is Wright, his left knee bandaged in ice. No official word as to the seriousness of the right injury.
Worst fear, as you said, of a head football coach. Last week, if he has to go on the injured reserve, he's out for the entire season with a surgery like that. That's certainly something that Buffalo doesn't need when he documented that their defense was ranked 27th last year.
Miller underneath. Jason Phillips. No catch is the ruling as the official comes in from the sidelines. He trapped it. Phillips, one of the many little, quick, and mighty fast, in most cases, Falcon receiving corps. Perhaps no faster group of receivers in the league than here in Atlanta.
Again, a look at Bruce Smith this year, down to 265 pounds. It took 4 bone chips out of his knee. Whoa. Went down on his leg, did Mike Ken there. You saw the right knee kind of pop a little bit. He has the brace on the left knee.
It's a good test. Mike Ken allowed only 1 sack all of last year. 36-year-old veteran left tackle. On 3rd down, Miller up the middle. Oh, Jason Phillips. It appeared to hit him in the shoulder pads.
You know, Dick, in this run and shoot offense, these inside receivers have to be very special people. People like Drew Hill and Ernest Gibbons, they can absorb the hits. Phillips new to this run and shoot inside. You can feel all the people around you in the middle of that defensive backfield.
Got Bullhaig to kick. Chris Hale drifts back to the 28. And Hale all the way to the Atlanta 49-yard line. A flag is down. 51-yard punt, if it counts. Hale with a 23-yard return. Illegal man downfield, and undoubtedly Buffalo will take the return. Our referee tonight is veteran Gordon McCarter.
Ineligible downfield, number 90 kicking team, penalty declined, 1st down.
Now, one thing you know about Atlanta, when you play the Falcons and Jerry Glanville, you better strap it on. Yes. Because he loves gang tackling. He loves a high physical contact game, and perhaps symbolizing that best is his safety man, 25, Scott Case. To the 46, a pickup of 3. Jeff Donaldson and Ken Tippins collaborate on the tackle. Case is not in the lineup at the moment.
But Dick, you see the movement by the Buffalo Bills, people switching spots, trying to confuse Atlanta's defense here.
Good protection underneath Ed Thomas, the tight end. He's a 245-pounder from Houston, acquired from the Buccaneers by way of the Plan B. Again, Keith McKellar, a man that Kelly says we have to have in the offense, has not as yet signed. And Pete Metzler's, the backup, has a slight injury, and Marv Levy did not want to play him tonight. 3rd down and 3. Crowd trying to help the defense.
Plenty of time, still 12 seconds on the 30-second clock.
Complete to Reed. He could go all the way. Touchdown, Buffalo. 41 yards. A typical Andre Reed score underneath, and then that great running ability after the catch. Although this one had a pretty wide avenue on which to roam.
This was beautiful even before the throw. Kelly takes the entire time. He recognizes the blitz by the Atlanta Falcons. Man-to-man coverage. McKyer, 22, was the man in coverage with Andre Reed. Excellent speed. Well, you beat the blitz. Here, you have done something.
Christie adds the extra point, and the combination of Kelly to Reed has struck early in Atlanta.
Burger King has a deal that's really making some noise. Every time you buy a Whopper meal, you get a 16-ounce Coke glass free. That's a plain broiled Whopper sandwich, medium Coca-Cola Classic, medium fries, and a Coke glass free. Sounds sweet, huh? Collect the whole set, and you'll be seriously jamming. Not to mention the tasty fringe benefits.
I heard that.
Don't wait, right away at Burger King now.
We know it moves you. We know it drives you. You got the love? Now where are you going to get the shoes? At Foot Locker, we've got above-the-rim shoes from Reebok. You got the love, we got the shoes. Foot Locker, where it all begins.
Car and Driver magazine declared its road manners are in the import vein, but comfort is better. And if you're wondering what else they had to say about the new Oldsmobile 88 Royale, call 1-800-241-OLDS. We'll send you their complete test drive evaluation on video cassette, free. Because when Car and Driver says the new 88 has hit the elusive style mark, it deserves more of your time than we can give it here. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
The New York Jets. After a playoff appearance and their best preseason ever, they're ready for takeoff into the NFL's elite. The Atlanta Falcons. Last year's playoff surge proved these contenders are too legit to quit. Now, two teams on the rise collide. The NFL season begins September 6th.
Jets are 5-0 in the preseason. As you look at Andre Reed capping the 49-yard drive, 41 yards on his run after catch from Jim Kelly. That combination that has terrorized the AFC strikes at the 9:22 mark of the opening quarter in Atlanta. Christie kicks it off. Derek Moore. And Moore jackknifed down at the 27-yard line. Let's go back to the touchdown, Bob.
Beautifully executed. Watch Kenneth Davis right here. He is the big blitz pickup guy. Jim Kelly recognizes the entire thing. He relays the information to his offensive line. All 11 offensive players recognize blitz. Watch 23. First aspect that works. Clear out by Thomas, 87. Reed comes underneath. Beautifully executed. That's one of the valuable things about having a quarterback who can call the audibles at the line of scrimmage.
Chris Miller yet to complete a pass over 3. By the way, that's the first passing touchdown for Buffalo in their 4 preseason games. They'd scored only 2 offensive touchdowns coming into this game. Tony Smith and the former Golden Eagle at Southern Miss, now a Falcon, has a couple.
There's Bruce Smith in an upright stance against Mike Ken, and Atlanta's choice run right at him. Support there from the outside by Dwight Drain, 45, running Smith out of bounds. One thing I can tell you about the NFL, there is no sympathy given to Bruce Smith by the Atlanta Falcons. If you're out there in the uniform, we're coming after you.
Smith, who lives in Virginia Beach, Virginia, raised in Norfolk. His father, 70-year-old former amateur boxer, watching and cheering him on. A former truck driver, has battled through some bad health and feeling better as well. Underneath it goes to Drew Hill, and the man who caught 90 catches at age 34 with the Houston Oilers last year and picked up in Plan B, has his first tonight. What does Hill bring to this Atlanta offense?
Well, Jerry Glanville told us that he's an insurance policy for the quarterback. Chris Miller will know on every single passing play called, Drew Hill will read the defense correctly and be in the right spot.
That third down hook especially.
Absolutely.
A favorite. And here on 3rd and 2, we might see it. 6 defensive backs for Buffalo.
The run and shoot doesn't run much.
Tony Smith. And he's able to battle to the 38-yard line. Looks good enough for the first down. Bruce Smith and Dwight Drain on the tackle.
That's one of the things that Atlanta wants to feature this year in the run and shoot. Talking to the offensive coordinator, June Jones, as you watch Mike Ken 78 on 78. You can certainly tell that Bruce Smith has not lost any strength whatsoever as he throws 285-pound Mike Ken out of his way.
First down. Little delay, and it's Tony Smith wrapped up from behind at the 42-yard line as number 90 Phil Hansen, 73 Mike Lodish make the stop. Phil Hansen, one of the top picks of the Bills last year, a second-rounder from North Dakota State, has added 17 pounds. He knew all through last year the shock of not having enough upper body strength, and he corrected that in the offseason. He's now playing at 275.
He needs at least 275 pounds to play defensive line nowadays in the NFL.
Now again, and it's Pegram, his first carry. Eric Pegram, who picked up 349 yards rushing last year. Tripped up by Leon Seals, just shy of the first down.
Well, you can sure see that they're going right in Bruce Smith's area. Ken does a good job of just pushing Bruce Smith up the field. Smith, historically, throughout his career, certainly been an outside pass rusher. A lot of teams have tried to come back up inside Bruce Smith. And he's got a quality offensive lineman there on him with a lot of years of experience. Mike Ken at 36 years and 8 months.
And still looks very fit, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Very young.
Invites over for a pretty good barbecue as well, he says. Juggled by Jason Phillips and tackled at the 50. It'll be good enough for a first down. Henry Jones moved to strong safety. A second-year man from Illinois made the hit. He replaces Leonard Smith.
The Buffalo Bills' choice defensively tonight is 6 defensive backs against this run and shoot. That's the popular choice throughout the league in dealing with the 4 wide receivers. This young man for Buffalo to succeed defensively has a big responsibility. The strong safety in Buffalo's defense makes a lot of tackles, almost plays like a linebacker, as Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator, standing there on the sideline, well knows that.
Atlanta's first trip into Buffalo territory, trailing 7-0. Just under 5 minutes left in the opening quarter. Again, the delay. Pegram hit from behind by Mike Lodish at the 46-yard line. The former UCLA player has his tackle as he's replaced Jeff Wright, the injured starter. And Wright continues to draw attention on that left knee. He'll not play the rest of this game, and Bruce Smith now is out, and Phil Hansen has replaced him at defensive end.
I don't think Walt Corey, after losing one defensive lineman, want to take a chance right now with Bruce Smith.
The red gun offense, the red run and shoot of Jerry Glanville, who says the only run is an attitude. The quick hit outside to Drew Hill. Is it ruled a catch? If it is, that's Buffalo's ball. And it is. It's ruled a catch, and the Bills have the recovery at the Atlanta 47-yard line.
It's not reviewable. So whatever the official calls is it. Drain makes the hit. Warp Speed Jones, as he's known. He was known in Houston. I think he's trying to make a big play out of just a little reception. Gets stripped of the ball. And it is Buffalo's ball.
Phil Hansen credited with a recovery. Buffalo with the lead and the ball at the Atlanta 47.
Freedom. It's the spirit which moves the Cutlass Supreme, a car intelligently engineered to free your eyes, your hands, your senses. Introducing the new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme. The look may change, but the spirit remains the same. Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sport Stick, an aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sport Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Are annual credit card fees sending you through the roof? Carry the card that charges no annual fee and stay on firm financial ground. It pays to discover.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, get an X. Killing those grungy fungi before they get racket and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
She captured the Olympic gold. Now, Jennifer Capriati defends her title at the Mazda Tennis Classic. Courts in session this weekend on NBC.
It was almost a year ago to the day, September 1st, the opening game of the '91 season, that Wright injured that same knee, the left knee, against Miami. The attitude seems to be better there on the sidelines now, and they've taken the ice away, and perhaps a positive sign as you search for something good out of a bad situation.
Did look swollen, though.
Kelly going deep downfield to Reed again, and he has a first down at the 15.
Again, great read by Jim Kelly. Andre Reed with single coverage with Tim McKyer left of the screen. This time, no blitz by Atlanta. Good protection. Kelly just throws the ball perfectly for Andre Reed. J.D. Donaldson finally makes the tackle, a 34-yard pickup.
Buffalo leading 7-0. 3.5 minutes remain in the first quarter. And Kelly to Kenneth Davis. And Davis with some fancy running inside the 10-yard line. Tim Green, Scott, Tracy Eaton in on the tackle.
There's one thing that you can take advantage of with this Atlanta defense. It's small up front. They play a one-gap defense, so there are people across the line of scrimmage. If you could get through the initial line, then you've got some yardage because they're stunning, they're gaming, they're looking at gaps on every single play.
Second and a long 4. Kelly is 5 for 6 in this opening quarter. 1 yard shy of 100. He stays on the ground, and Davis slams inside the 5 and looks to be close enough for a first down before Torrey Epps, 6 feet and 280-pound nose tackle to make the stop.
Well, for a team that really doesn't care what happens in the preseason, speaking of the Buffalo Bills, in his final preseason game, they've pretty dramatically here. Andre Reed and Jim Kelly hooked up. Good running game by Kenneth Davis.
Well, I guess they had saved a lot of offense after what happened in Kansas City on Monday night as they were slammed to the carpet 35-0 by the Chiefs.
Rare huddle by the Buffalo Bills down inside the 4-yard line.
First and goal. An impressive quarter by the Buffalo starters. Howard Griffith, fullback, 223-pounder from Illinois. He was an Indianapolis draft pick in the 9th round a year ago. Carwell Gardner, the starting fullback, is not here. Marv Levy said he will start on opening day, and they expect the Bills to use their fullback more this year. So if there's going to be any change, Kelly and Levy both confirmed the fact that Gardner, the fullback, would be used more often this year.
This offense is unbelievably talented. As talented as Washington is on offense, I believe, in the NFC.
Kelly wide open, touchdown, Ed Thomas. Well, that number is familiar, isn't it? Butch Roll caught 8 touchdowns in a row. He has been picked up by Tampa Bay on Plan B. Ed Thomas adopts the number and the style.
Dick, you know, the amazing thing about Thomas is he went to college at the University of Houston, but because of the run and shoot, they made him a linebacker. He comes to the NFL, they make him a tight end, they give him Butch Roll's number, and that number's now caught 9 touchdown passes.
48 yards after the fumble recovery, and Christie's extra point makes it 14-0 Buffalo. Ed Thomas from Jim Kelly. Kelly has matched the entire preseason output in this opening quarter. 2 touchdown throws. And a reminder, just 9 days, a week from this Sunday, September 6th, we kick off what's sure to be another thrilling year of NFL football on NBC. Gets underway. NFL Live, 12:30 Eastern. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, Will McDonough, Gail Gardner, the Emmy Award-winning team. And then many of you will see these Atlanta Falcons against the New York Jets here from the Georgia Dome. Pittsburgh, Houston, Cleveland, Indianapolis, the early games, Kansas City, San Diego. We'll be there, Bob and I, Cincinnati and Seattle. A game that's missing New England and Miami. And we just heard that that game will not be played on opening day. Both of those teams will take their bye and then play in mid-October in Miami as the folks down there in southern Florida try to recover from that disastrous Hurricane Andrew. Jim Kelly, 100 yards on the nose, 2 touchdown throws, 6 for 7. He is, you know, you walk in the room, and if you didn't know anything about sports, and you said, just pick a sport and guess what this guy plays, I mean, you'd have to say football.
Oh, absolutely. But if you didn't know, you'd pick linebacker, not quarterback.
That's right. And that's how Penn State's Joe Paterno recruited Kelly. That's why I went to Miami, because he wanted to be a quarterback.
He was the first of that long string of great quarterbacks to go to the University of Miami, recruited by Howard Schnellenberger. That started the run.
Ernie Kosar and Vinny Testaverde. There's Billy Joe Tolliver, the former San Diego Charger. He comes in for Chris Miller. Tolliver from Texas Tech. The redhead from Little Boy, Texas. Population of 1,200. As Billy says, 1 traffic light, 1 policeman, 1 doctor, 1 hamburger stand. And as much as Kelly is all football, Billy Joe Tolliver is all Texas. He has a rifle of an arm. Just a matter of where it's going to go, and the Chargers weren't pleased with the downtime. They love the accuracy, but at times it wasn't there. And the first one is a bullseye to Mike Haynes, and a first down at the 34-yard line. Haynes, who led the National Football League in yards per catch last year, he caught 50 balls and averaged almost 22.5 yards every grab.
Every week, people who play Atlanta are going to have to worry about the speed of these receivers. I mean, we throw great speed, the superlative, around a lot, but when you look at Atlanta, it applies to about 5 of their receivers. World-class speed.
Andre Rison has not as yet signed, and he'll be included in this pool. On first down, up the middle goes Tony Smith. He's 217 pounds from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Was the most valuable player in the Senior Bowl, and that really heightened interest with the scouts. Moved him into that first-round category. He was the 19th player picked. Final seconds of the opening quarter. Impressive 15 minutes for Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills. Kelly, a pair of touchdown throws to Reed for 41, and a 1-yard toss to Ed Thomas. End of 1, 14-0 Buffalo.
Slowing down, that ain't you. No, that's not you. Easy drinking beer, that silver bullet smooth.
Know where it's coming from, setting the mood, the pure taste of the Rockies and silver bullet smooth.
Make the move, good lights, silver bullet smooth.
My association with Pennzoil over the years is a very special one. It's a special one because of the product. Pennzoil was such a part of the family and the vehicles that we used when I was a youth. Not being a very wealthy family, we had to take care of the equipment and take very good care of it, so it lasted a long time. And that's why we used Pennzoil as much as we did. Pennzoil, performance, protection, quality.
Hey, Hannon, lunch.
Hey, all right.
No. I mean, see what everybody wants.
2 cheeseburgers and a quarter pounder with cheese.
Large fries?
Big Mac. Make it 2.
Got it, kid.
With McDonald's Extra Value Meals,
number
you can
one,
order your
6
favorite
number
food
two,
by number.
4 number
Served up fast, guaranteed. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hannon, nice job. It's yours from now on.
For pro volleyball's best beach boys, it all comes down to this. The biggest payday, the tour's final event, the Miller Lite U.S. Championships, live this weekend on NBC.
Welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy. Jerry Glanville, the 50-year-old fiery head coach of the Atlanta Falcons from Northern Michigan, was named one of the distinguished alums from that university in the Upper Peninsula during the offseason, along with Glenn Seaborg, who found a way to liquefy plutonium and harness it. Well, what a difference there is that his IQ was 1 above mine. His was 191, mine was 91. Tolliver misses connections as he goes for his running back, Derek Moore, downfield. Glanville also likes to race stock cars. He's a NASCAR man, and he's quick to take you into his office and show you that all black number 56. It's expensive, though. He tends to not finish a lot of races. What's his record?
He's finished 1 of 8, and he says for every $100 I win, I got $10,000 worth of damage to my car. He is looking for a sponsor for his car.
The line isn't very long, so if you're interested, just contact in care of Atlanta Falcons.
Space available.
On 3rd down and about 7. Tolliver had room to run and lets the throw incomplete to Sean Collins. He's another product of Northern Arizona and the #1 pick of the Falcons 3 years ago.
That's not on Sean Collins. You can't blame that on Sean Collins. Billy Joe Tolliver, one of the things about this run and shoot is they prefer you stay in the pocket no matter what's happening. Find somebody, but Billy Joe is very quick to get out of the pocket here. There's not a lot of pressure to flush him, but then trying to throw back, he throws behind Sean Collins, who is not really impressed Jerry Glanville to the point where he gets a lot of playing time.
So Folhagen to kick again, and it's Chris Hale at the other end for Buffalo. Another good kick to the 10. Is bounced at the 19-yard line. A 53-yard punt from Folhagen. He's kicked 3 times, and his average is over 50 yards tonight.
Dick, let me say something about Jerry Glanville. Over the last several years, I've done a whole bunch of Houston Oilers football games. He is unique in a lot of ways, but in the NFL as a head coach, he's unique for this fact. He calls offense and defense for the Atlanta Falcons. Did it Houston. I can't think of a coach presently in the NFL other than him who involves himself so much in the offense and defense of a football team. He has really taken a mouthful of every team that he has coached.
I remember Bill Walsh, when he met him a couple of years ago when he was working with us, said that he's amazed how knowledgeable Glanville is. Frank Reich is the new quarterback, and he gives to Howard Griffith, and the fullback slams it out to the 27-yard line. But I also talked with a former Houston Oilers player that asked him not to identify him, and he said that perhaps the strength of Glanville is also his weakness, and that is by doing everything, he doesn't leave enough for his assistant coaches.
I think that's an excellent point.
2nd down and 3 at the 27. Tasker in motion. And Wright gives to Griffith. No gain. Darian Connor invades the Buffalo backfield.
Jerry Glanville said yesterday at the Meet the Falcons luncheon here on the floor of the Georgia Dome that when people came to the Georgia Dome, he wanted them to leave with a headache, and that responsibility is this black wave defense that he's designed. He wants pressure in every gap.
Right. Is it enough for the 1st down? And Steve Tasker grabs it at the 31. Yes, 1st down Buffalo. And Tasker has caught only 4 career passes. The little guy from Northwestern now in his 8th year, but has been in 3 Pro Bowls. And Jim Kelly said, don't be fooled by his record. He is as fine a receiver. He should be starting some places. He's reliable, he's fast, and, well, we all know he's tough.
Yeah, said he ran the best patterns of anybody on the team, Steve Tasker.
Casper's glad that Scott Kiss is in here. That's another story we'll share with you. Griffith on first down. And he's to the 34-yard line in the grasp of Connor. Number 56, same number as Glanville's race car. And Glanville hoping Connor will be as reckless at linebacker as he is on the track.
But let me tell you what happened to Darian Connor last year. In a game against the Raiders, he had his eye socket crushed. And Jerry believes that it mentally changed Darian Connor. He never last year really got over that injury. It scared him.
On second down and 7, Wright slides down across the 35-yard line, and right on his back was Oliver Barnett, third-year man from Kentucky.
This is a guy who is should be a big part of this defense. If he can get that injury out of his mind, that eye injury against the Raiders last year. Of course, the big tackler for this defense again is Tuggle, the man in the middle, but Connor is a big enough linebacker along with Tippins on the other side, 52, that they can contain a lot of offense for Tuggle to make the tackle.
Third down and a long 6. Buffalo leads 14-0. We're early in the second quarter. And Frank Wright for Jim Kelly, and underneath to Davis, shy of first down by a long yard at the 40-yard line. And the punting team comes on. Connor with another tackle. That was a great series for the 24-year-old product of Jackson State.
Dick, one of the things that's characteristic of Jerry Glanville's defense is the depth of these linebackers. He wants them stepping up to the line of scrimmage on every snap. That's why this is such a great hitting defense. It's a nice umbrella coverage by the defensive backs, and Davis caught that ball in between the two linebackers.
Chris Moore sends out a punt. Fair catch at the 20-yard line by Tony Smith. 40-yard punt. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. 14-0 Bills.
The Dream Team. America's finest took on the world and won. They were bound by a common past, a common goal, and a common thread. For 75 years, Champion has made America's uniform, and we're proud to have made the uniforms for the team that brought home the dream. It takes a little more to make a champion.
This is the end of how you think about dandruff shampoo, of Head & Shoulders as you now know it. Now it's better. Because new Head & Shoulders gets to 10 times more of the places dandruff starts to help prevent flakes. Hey, would you try this with your ordinary shampoo? I think not. No other shampoo has this formula. New Head & Shoulders. This could be the end of flakes. Period.
One oil filter traps 80% more dirt than the leading competitor. Clearly, that's Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
Domino's Pepperoni Passion. Now get pepperoni pizza deal starting at $6.99.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
Deal starting at $6.99.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying one of our pepperoni pizza deals during the game.
Buffalo in the last 4 years has had the worst of all NFL teams, the worst record in the preseason. And yet here's a team that's won 4 straight AFC Eastern titles and has been to the Super Bowl the last 2 years. They get it going when the man says start the race. Straight ahead goes Derek Moore, and flags go down as a helmet comes flying out of the pack. Look to be more the ball carriers.
You're not allowed to throw helmets.
James Patton, a rookie from Texas, number 93, appeared to be around the play.
5 yards, repeat first down.
Well, it wasn't for pulling the helmet off. As the running back goes through the line of scrimmage, you know, they now have those double chin straps. in the last exhibition game. He grabs the face mask. That's why the penalty. That's exactly why the penalty. It was James Patton. It's an inadvertent face mask. 5-yard penalty.
Patton, a second-round pick this year by Buffalo out of Texas. They compare him to Steve McMichael as a rough, tough interior lineman. He's 6'3" and 280.
McMichael would grab a face mask.
Eric Pegram hit by Phil Hansen at the 30-yard line, and that'll be good enough for a Atlanta first down. Hansen in for Bruce Smith, and Smith apparently, as Marv Levy said, I just want to get him in for a few series. He's probably out for the rest of the night. What was your evaluation?
Well, he's not had a lot of contact in training camp. He's sitting on the sideline. He's making sure that he's healthy for next week, and I think he expected a little more. Did not play particularly well. Now that's understandable. He's not had a lot of contact, but he played very high, and when a defensive lineman plays high, you are easy pickings for any offensive lineman.
He said he's even been working on that patented spin move of his, and he'll be ready against the Rams a week from Sunday. Pegram hit in the backfield. Second-year man from North Texas State. Lodish and Patton, the two defensive tackles for Buffalo, make the stop.
Atlanta turned ultra-conservative here. This is a red gun offense, and they're just slamming it up in there.
But Glanville traditionally has, in the last preseason game, tried to run the football. He kind of likes the idea, and what did he say to us? I don't even care if we gain yardage.
Right, it's just run for attitude. Just impress the defense. Well, you turn the offensive lineman loose on defensive linemen and play a little smash mouth. You know, earn a little respect.
Oliver on the roll to Jason Phillips, and Phillips across the 40-yard line to the 41. First down, Atlanta, 12-yard pickup.
Nice job by Billy Joe Tolliver. This is a series of plays that's going to appear here in the NFL. You see the fake sweep left, naked bootleg. He's out there. Billy Joe can throw the ball well on the run. You isolate coverage on one receiver, Hale underneath. It's a pretty easy reception.
Phillips, who leads the Falcons here in the summer, 9 catches coming into this game. He's out of Houston, where he played this offense and played with the Lions in the run and shoot. Plan B pickup by the Falcons. That's Drew Hill settling in the slot to left. Tolliver caught by Mark Pike and almost fumbled the ball. Pike, 6-year man from Georgia Tech, and he's got friends and family here cheering for him.
Did you see the strength of Billy Joe Tolliver, though? Watch Mark Pike hang on Billy Joe Tolliver, and Billy Joe is standing right there. Now, most quarterbacks go to the ground. No. That's the toughness of Billy Joe Tolliver. Hansen almost gets the ball loose, but Billy Joe is one tough kid from Texas and doesn't miss an opportunity to display that toughness either.
Carrot tapped Tolliver. Outstanding baseball pitcher in high school. Been well related. 14 no-hitters. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Maybe we shouldn't talk about baseball in this city the way Deion Sanders has forsaken the Falcons. And if you're just joining us, apparently the situation with Deion Sanders, the sensational defensive back of the Atlanta Falcons, and the outfielder now of the Atlanta Braves, they have come to a roadblock in negotiations, and as it is right now, Sanders will not play football until the Braves are out of the baseball season, which means if they go on to the World Series, he might miss 7 or 8 games of the NFL year.
So he would basically be like Bo Jackson was for the Kansas City Royals. Play the last half of the season. I'm sure there'd be a special roster exemption. He said, though, it's bothered him. He's 17 for his last 88 with the Atlanta Braves. His average has dropped to 300. He said he had to make a decision so he could play some solid baseball.
Third down and 16, and Tolliver to the sidelines and over the head of number 83, Tony Jones. And listen to this crowd. It's only the preseason. Not happy with Tolliver. The third quarterback on the roster is veteran Wade Wilson, acquired from the Minnesota Vikings after Wilson had played 11 years up in the Twin Cities. There he is. He's expected to get his chance. And of course, talk about a tough assignment. He had to come into an offense, all new terminology, all new personnel, and a run and shoot that he'd never played before.
But he does go from dome to dome.
Yeah, that's a plus. Yeah. Colhag has been busy. Eddie Fuller gets only a couple on the return to the 22-yard line. A 48-yard punt, 5 yards on the return. 7 minutes, 45 seconds left in the half.
You know that sinking feeling? You turn the key and nothing.
When it gets this hot, you'd better get to Sears.
I hear my battery gets baked.
Only Sears has the Die Hard. In demanding tests for starting power, Die Hard performed 3 times better than industry standard.
This time, I'm getting a Die Hard.
You can count on me.
Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
This one's from Kansas, where we met that nice couple from Sri Lanka.
This is from Ohio, where we learned to dance the lambada.
This one's from Mississippi, where Gigi Golubin's mother lives.
Right now, only at Burger King, when you buy a delicious flame-broiled Whopper, medium fries, and a medium Coke Classic, we'll give you this unique textured Coca-Cola glass absolutely free.
Ella, show them the one from New York. Oh, no, the sophisticated one.
Free Coca-Cola glass with a Whopper, fries, and a Coke Classic.
Dear Thompson's, when the store ran out of Thompson's water seal, we finished our deck with another brand. What a mistake. The Thompson side beat it up, the other side, nothing. Even the clerk agreed. Nothing works like Thompson's. Sincerely, Becky Jones, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Champion Authentic Athletic Wear. It takes a little more to make a champion. By Thompson's House and Deck Stain. Seal water out, seal color in. By Burger King, where you get it your way right away. We don't serve billions, we serve individuals. And by the Die Hard battery, now with more power when you need it most.
Tracy Eaton, free safety, replaced Scott Case. Case has fractured a thumb, and now Eaton is down, a knee or ankle injury. And the Falcons in the last couple of weeks have been suffering some devastating injuries on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where they need help. They're going to score, much like Buffalo, but their defense suspect. Right off the kneecap of Nate Turner, the rookie tight end from Nebraska, as Reich a little low and outside with that throw.
You were talking about the injuries. John Rady and Dinkins, 2 linebackers, had knee surgery yesterday. Mike Gann has a fractured thumb. He's out for an extended period of time. And you're right, this is not a strong nor deep defense.
Well, plus you lose your top tackler from last year, Brian Jordan, a safety man who's now playing baseball in the St. Louis Cardinal organization, and Deion Sanders.
Who is 3 people on this football team.
Many people say he could play 3 positions. And Atlanta was ranked 24th in the league in defense last year. Reich underneath to the 31-yard line to Tasker. Steve Tasker. He was drafted by Houston. And when Marv Levy took over as the head coach 6 years ago, and they needed a wide receiver, more a special teamer, they picked Tasker, and they picked a Pro Bowler.
Now, he said that he was the first player ever chosen by Marv Levy as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And Levy, who has historically been big on special teams, said this kid will improve our team 100% the minute he gets here, and he did.
It's 3rd down and a yard for the Bills. And a first down as Eddie Fuller finds a hole off the left side and skips out to the 34. Fuller from LSU. Michael Reed, the tackler, a 6-year man from Wisconsin, number 95 for Atlanta.
Dick, I now see that the 2nd and 3rd string offensive line for Buffalo is in with 6:31 to go in the first half here. They're protecting a lot of people, both teams are.
Flags down as Reich dumps it off to the 37-yard line to Howard Griffith, and 2 different flags down, one upfield and one in the backfield, thrown by this man, referee McCarter, that may be roughing the passer.
I wonder if the officials feel relieved. that there's no replay this year?
I would if I were an official. I just think the instant replay took away some of my authority, my command. I was waiting for
the second flag we are picking up. There were not 12 men on defense, only 11 as required. The other foul is a personal foul, roughing the passer, number 99 defense. 15, first down.
Tim Green guilty of the foul.
Unusual for Tim Green, a very quiet, well-spoken kid out of Syracuse. He was a GTE academic All-American at Syracuse. Has political aspirations, not known to be someone who would push a quarterback in the back.
But he definitely had more than a step and a half coming, about 3 steps into the back of Frank Reich. Green, who is attending law school and is a couple of semesters away from his degree at Syracuse. And he and Wes Pritchard, another academic star at Colorado, will not play tonight, but will be ready for the opener. Most important headgear in life you'll ever wear to the Georgia Educational Association, telling young people here in this state to get your high school diploma. Mike Pritchard, wide receiver. And he is one of the many nicked, but will play in the opener against the Jets, so you'll see here on NBC a week from Sunday.
Wright still running the at-the-line of scrimmage offense here for Buffalo.
Wright goes long for Don Beebe, and it's intercepted and then dropped as Tim McKyer had a shot at it. Good coverage by the veteran McKyer. Has a couple of Super Bowl rings at San Francisco.
Of course, you know the story about Frank Reich and his wonderful record as a starter in relief of Jim Kelly. I frankly think that there are a lot of coaches and other players on this football team that can leave, but Frank Reich must stay for what he does for Jim Kelly. Just close personal friend, confidant. Kelly and Reich are inseparable. They think a lot alike. It's almost like you got two guys, they are one player.
And Reich, you saw the wobbly pass. Had that been a clean-cut spiral, he had Beebe open for a score. Against McKyer, 6 interceptions last year for McKyer and 6 for Deion Sanders to lead the NFC, and a delay of game flag, I believe, being thrown against the Bills.
5 yards, still third down.
There was Marv Levy on the sideline. This guy has a master's degree from Harvard. On one side of the field, we have a guy who quotes Churchill. And on the other side, Jerry Glanville, he quotes Jerry Jeff Walker. They're both doing the same thing. That's hard for me to understand.
The antithesis of one another. Glanville may be the antithesis of every coach in the league.
That's true.
Right. Looked like he short hopped it to Kenneth Davis, incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down. Yeah, the thing about Gladville yesterday, you never know how much he's putting you on, but there's some of that going. And if some have said if Bull were music, then he'd be the Atlanta Symphony. But nevertheless, he said the thing that bothers him about this NFC West is there's nobody to get mad at except New Orleans. Right. Those West Coast teams are too easy going. They won't get mad at anything.
Yeah. He said when he was in the AFC Central, he said, we hated each other.
And he said he misses those collisions with Cleveland and Cincinnati when he was at Houston. It'll be Atlanta ball just outside the 10 for Glanville when we return.
I shouldn't have to tell you this, but you can save money on home repairs with the right wood preserver. Thompson's Wood Protector has more of everything wood needs to protect it. The Parkers used the wrong brand. Now look at that fading. The Furmans tried something else, and they still got water damage. They'll be calling.
Thompson's Wood Protector. Superior protection from water, sun, and mildew damage.
Thompson's Wood Protector. It's #1 for wood.
This may look like a typical night beer, and some typical friends enjoying a typical day in the park. But this is no typical day in the park. And this doesn't taste like a typical light beer, because this is cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft Light. So there's nothing typical about it.
Whenever you pick up a little something, why not charge it on the Discover card and earn a cashback bonus? After all, money doesn't grow on trees. Oh. Or does it? It pays to Discover.
Domino's Pepperoni Passion. Now get pepperoni pizza deal starting at $6.99.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
Deal starting at $6.99.
In 2 weeks, the pride and tradition of Notre Dame football returns to NBC as the Fighting Irish square up against one of their fiercest rivals, Big Ten champion Michigan. It's Heisman Trophy favorite Rick Meyer versus Michigan field general Elvis Gerback in this battle of 2 top 10 teams. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
Welcome back to Atlanta, the Georgia Dome. In the white shirt, Scott Case, the starting free safety, his right thumb in case now. A fracture suffered early in this game. Atlanta starts from the 10. Billy Joe Tolliver still at the controls. Hits Sean Collins and a first down out of bounds at the 22-yard line. The word on Tracy Eaton, the safety that replaced Case, is he has sprained his right knee and will not return.
Goodness. Now you see Sean Collins there, #1 draft choice a number of years ago. In the previous administration, coaching staff here in Atlanta, you can see the kind of production he had as a receiver. Since the run and shoot has gotten here, he can't impress Jerry Glanville enough to get a consistent spot on his offense.
He has the size at 6'2". He's the biggest receiver, but not the speed. He's the slowest. But they feel he might be attractive in a trade. Tolliver with Hansen caressing him, and he gets it away. A first down. It's Jason Phillips.
What a throw. How many guys can throw it like that? You mentioned what a strong arm he has. I've heard Chuck Knox say that some of these quarterbacks, their ego is in their arm. This kid qualifies, and if he's got an inch, he'll try to make a completion. He did here. Excellent adjustment by Billy Joe Tolliver. Hansen all over him, number 90. Kind of a takedown with the leg. He still makes the completion.
That would have been a sack a couple of years ago, but without endangerment from an oncoming another defensive player while he was being tied up by one ankle. They allow that play to go, and I think that has delighted the players especially. You felt some quick whistles took away big plays. Derek Moore, nothing there except rookie James Patton for the Buffalo Bills. He is the strongest, even though a rookie, the strongest man in that Bills weight room.
We mentioned that Jerry Glanville likes to run the ball for attitude. I don't think this is running the ball for attitude. I think he's trying to protect his troops. Now he's got two very important defensive players on the sideline here. He doesn't want to get anybody on his offense hurt.
3rd down and 4. Out of the shotgun. Good protection. And a completion at the 39 to Jason Phillips. First down, Atlanta. Eric Coleman, 3rd-year man from Wyoming, secured the tackle.
Billy Joe getting the plays from the sideline from June Jones. Excellent protection. Billy Joe had all kinds of time. Phillips goes down and makes the reception. That's his 4th catch of the night.
And his 13th of the preseason to lead all Falcon receivers. We haven't seen George Thomas, another speedster. We told you Mike Pritchard won't play, and Andre Rison trying to renegotiate his contract after a big 81-catch season to lead Atlanta last year. 14-0 Buffalo. Just under 3 minutes to go in the half. Tolliver intercepted by Henry Jones. Jones at the 40. And a 2nd-year man, a #1 pick of the Bills a year ago, ducks out at the 44, and the boos for the red gun, a red-headed quarterback, Tolliver.
Dick, how many years have you heard the adage, don't throw late down the middle? Now, Billy Joe knows better than this. He avoids the pressure by Pike 94, then throws late down the middle. Jones, a converted corner out of college. We mentioned earlier that he's got a Phil Leonard Smith spot at that strong safety. Does an excellent job, but that's a big mistake by Billy Joe Tolliver there.
Second turnover by the Bills. They recovered a fumble that led to a touchdown in the first quarter. As Jim Kelly at Buffalo, 2 quick scores, a 41-yard pass to Andre Reed and a 1-yard throw to Ed Thomas after the fumble recovery.
False start before the snap. Number 66 offense.
Tough to miss
5
him.
yards, still first down.
What they say he weighed coming into camp, Crafts?
380. Kelly said, Howard Ballard is the house. This guy's a condominium. 380. Number 66. There's a lot of room between that 6 and that 6, isn't there?
He played at Louisville, was a 11th round pick of Indianapolis a year ago. Frank Reich to Chris Walsh. Walsh, a rookie from Stanford, tackled right at the 50-yard line after an 11-yard pickup.
No relation to Bill. He has a Craig and he has a Steve. He does not have a Chris.
The one Walsh leads as another Bill returns. Second down and a short 5. Kenneth Davis has a first down and more. Out of bounds at the Atlanta 37-yard line.
One of the things that the Buffalo Bills like to do, they like to run the counter. Washington certainly does that. Watch the influence it has on this linebacker. This is exactly what they hope. Whoa, the linebacker, 95, Reed plays it very well. Didn't go for the fake. That's why there was a little bit of a pickup, but not as much as the counter gap usually gets.
First down, Buffalo, just outside the 36. Timeout.
You know who's wild? Plato, the philosopher. In his utopia, running and doing crazy cartwheels was right up there with art. Plato realized, hey, as important as the mind is, it's just a very small organ in a very large organism. Plato, philosopher, wow, man.
I'd do anything for my baby. Anything for my baby.
Nice car.
Trade ya.
Anything for my baby. Baby Ruth.
If you're nuts about nougat, crazy for caramel, and absolutely wild about peanuts, you'd do anything for a Baby Ruth.
Anything for my baby.
Hey, that's my car.
Baby Ruth.
Last night, Russ Beeler, owner of Lake Edna KFC, opened Hammer's eyes to new popcorn chicken. Delicious, crispy, bite-sized morsels. A whole new way to enjoy the Colonel's chicken.
Come on, Hammer.
The problem was, no one could get him to go on until the last piece was gone.
Now that's pop.
New KFC popcorn chicken. Treat yourself for $1.99, the band just $5.99 in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
This is my cousin Danielle.
Hi.
Hello.
I haven't seen you since we were 7. Well, actually, your dad's sister married my dad's brother. So, you like to dance?
I love to dance. So what does that make us?
Nothing. Here and Now, Saturdays this fall on NBC.
2 minutes to go in the half. Stay with us at halftime. Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report with Dan Hicks and Will McDonough. They'll have all the scores, highlights, and a trade involving an all-pro center that goes to the Cleveland Browns. Kenneth Davis to the 30-yard line. What a backup punch that gives the Bills. And you lose Thurman Thomas, or you take him out of a game, as we saw so many times last year in a game that Buffalo felt they had won. You put in Davis, and it's as if this man would be a starter most any place else. He gives you yardage. This is Griffith, Howard Griffith, and he's down close to the 20, inside the 20, an 11-yard pickup and another first down for the Buffalo Bills at the 19, and with it a timeout. Buffalo 14-0.
It's Domino's Pepperoni Passion. Now get irresistible pepperoni pizza deals starting at $6.99. Yes, $6.99. Call for Domino's Better Than Ever Pizza with more cheese, tender, tastier crust, and lots of pepperoni.
Nobody knows like Domino's.
Domino's Pepperoni Passion. Deal starting at $6.99.
When a muffler goes, some people look for a cheap replacement. Fact is, they can get a quality Midas muffler starting at $24.95. Fact is, a guaranteed economizer muffler starting at $24.95. Don't believe anybody ever beats Midas.
Susie Hamilton, U.S. middle distance runner.
What was good enough yesterday just isn't good enough today. You can't hang on to old victories. That's what performance is all about. That's why I like this stuff so much. It's not the old way of doing things. Shampoo and conditioner in one, Pert Plus. It gives me the results I'm after. Soft, manageable hair with not a lot of fuss. Who needs the old way of getting there?
Pert Plus. Great hair, no fuss.
Need a fresh start? Get the battery that's proven to start over 50,000 times. Motorcraft. Motorcraft quality parts from Ford.
The New York Jets. They're the talk of the Big Apple after an unbeaten preseason. Now they're ready to join the NFL's elite. The Atlanta Falcons. Last year's playoffs proved Glanville's birds can fly with anyone. Now, two teams on the rise collide. The NFL season begins September 6th.
Washington made it famous. Tom Bresnahan brought it from Phoenix to Buffalo. It's the counter series. This little jab step by the running back, hopefully you pull the linebacker here, and then there's enough time for the running back to get out there. But this young man, Tim Paulk, the young man out of Florida, he must have seen a lot of the counter gap down in the Southeast Conference because he didn't buy it. He was there to assist on the tackle.
Reich on first down to Walsh, the rookie. He's to the 9-yard line. Marv Levy and the Bills like this receiver Walsh, who doesn't have the speed but terrific hands. He was a 9th-round pick. He caught 66 passes for the Cardinal last year. Close to another first down. It'll be second down. Well, they may even have to measure.
Oh, Buffalo gets a break here to measure. They'll stop the clock momentarily here. Give Marv Levy, give Tom Bresnahan, give Jim Schaffner a chance to, Frank Reich, to think here what we're going to do here. 21-0 in this first half. Nice end to a preseason for Buffalo.
And it'll be first and goal for the Bills at the 9-yard line with 1:08 to go, and Buffalo 14-0. Jeff Wright leaving the field early. That left knee encased in ice. And until tomorrow, when there'll be a full examination, we won't know how serious. At least he's going off under his own power.
That's not necessarily good, though. But that much ice and the trauma of an injury, it's pretty numb down there. That's not necessarily good.
Beebe and Walsh to the right. As Wright hit, ball free, and it's an incomplete pass. No fumble. It is picked up after Tim Green makes the play, and picked up and run in by Oscar Giles, number 62, but Gordon McCarter called it pass all the way, no fumble.
Immediately. Gordon McCarter sitting back and to the left on this picture. There you see him, Frank Reich. Watch his arm. Watch McCarter's arm. There he signals. That is a pass forward. That is a very liberal interpretation of the arm going forward, in my estimation. And I'm a big fan of instant replay. I think Green forced his arm forward.
Tim Green shooting through on the inside to make the play, but the official has to make the call just like a baseball umpire. Out or safe, he said it was an intended pass. The fans don't like it. They saw it on the replay. Wright, a lot of time, and throws it away. Kenneth Davis lined up as a wing on the left side, trying to work his way open.
He was the last receiver that Frank Reich was looking to as a receiver, but there was excellent coverage. Jeff Donaldson, 42, down in the end zone.
Reich playing the second quarter after Jim Kelly missed on only one pass, had 100 yards throwing and 2 touchdowns in the first period to give Buffalo their 14-0 lead. Under a minute to go in the half as Buffalo looks at 3rd and goal. Flag down, incomplete. Broken up by Jerry Ray. Nate Turner, the tight end, the intended receiver.
3 flags thrown. This is a no-doubter in the official's mind. Looked like somebody was moving.
False start before the snap. 49 offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
So no play. They'll mark off 5. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Far side. Yeah, you see when the linebacker comes up to fake the blitz, that drew Turner out of his stance. 5 yards, and that is a dead ball foul. So it's before the snap. That's why Buffalo has no choice. Atlanta has no choice.
So they bring the ball out to the 14-yard line, 3rd and goal. Davis make that Howard Griffith out to the left. Beebe and Walsh to the right. Davis in the backfield with Wright. Wide open is Beebe, incomplete. Oh my. Jim Kelly could taste that one. And the field goal unit comes on.
That cornerback that dropped the coverage on Don Beebe is not going to want to watch this film come Saturday or Sunday. The coverage is dropped right there at the 8-yard line. Let him go.
Of course, it's a numbers game on Monday at noon. Each NFL roster will have to whittle down to 47 players. They have 60 or more, depending on conditions. A 32-yard field goal attempt by Christie right down the middle, and Buffalo leads 17-0. Steve Christie, who replaces Scott Norwood as the Bills kicker. And we'll have the scores and highlights of other games on this Friday night. A busy schedule as Messrs. Hicks and McDonough report from New York. And one of the favorite Enbergs, Hilg Enberg, has changed residences and will go from Chicago to Cleveland. And if he's healthy, he'd help any team.
What's that name again?
Hilg Enberg.
Yes. Jay.
A veteran who couldn't work out his deal with the Bears. He's been suffering the last couple of years with various ailments. As you look at Bruce Smith, Thurman Thomas.
What did Bruce Smith tell us this morning? They were arguing who is the best player of the two in the NFL. Thurman Thomas has his MVP. So does Bruce Smith as a defensive player. That's a hard argument to settle.
They had sweet potato pie. Bruce Smith's sister lives here in Atlanta. And you see that smile. He told us about that sweet potato pie, and that was about twice as broad as the smile you see now. They're going to go have a little more after the game. Sister Linda is here watching. 17-0 Buffalo. Gee, I hated to use that good sweet potato story so early in this game, but stay with us in the second half, folks. We have more of that good stuff.
Maybe you can. What else he likes to eat too. Dick, if we go back to the, I knew that was going to happen. Dick, if we go back to the touchdown, it also happened. This is Beebe, and this is the corner I'm talking about. When you see in this situation a corner move up and bite on an underneath pattern, he has made a major mistake. When this young man watches that film, if he gets a chance to watch this film, he may be home before the film is watched. We'll try to pick up his number. That is a major cornerback mistake.
So Atlanta with only 47 seconds left in the half, trailing 17-0. Tolliver underneath to Jason Phillips. He's been the busy receiver. His 5th catch out to the 30-yard line.
You know, wide receiver is a tough spot to make in this Atlanta Falcon team. He's done a fine job this preseason, and that's his 5th catch of the night.
Bobby Butler, the veteran cornerback, was the man guilty of the mistake defensively.
He knows better. That's a lack of concentration on Bobby Butler. Again, here it is. You're going to see the entire thing. Now Butler's trying to make a big play. Huge mistake. Butler knows better. A former corner, one of the best one-on-one coverage men that the NFL ever had for a number of years out of Florida State.
12 years. This is 12th, and there you see his interceptions. He preceded Primetime Deion Sanders with the Seminoles. Good leader, and hey, no one's perfect. He's
That's true. You're right. That's true. Cornerbacks.
3rd and 1, and too tall for Sean Collins, who pays the price from Manny Hendricks, number 30.
Former teammate of mine named Ken Riley, who was a cornerback in the NFL for 15 years, said a good cornerback has 2 attributes, 2 things he needs to succeed: speed and a bad memory.
That's right. A very bad memory. You've got to be able to forget. You're the loneliest guy in town playing out there one-on-one. Glanville not going to take any chances with 11 seconds left, as he'll send out Folheg, who's been a busy punter this first half. His 5th punt, and he's averaged over 50 on the previous 4. Eddie Fuller, the deep man. Another driving kick to Fuller at the 22. To the 33-yard line goes Fuller as the final second ticks away. End of the first half. The Buffalo Bills invading Georgia and leave at the intermission 17-0 over the Falcons. We'll be back with NFL Live after these messages from the National Football League and a word from your local station.
They come from all walks of life: teachers, pilots, businesswomen, doctors, lawyers, even football players. I'm Scott Case of the Atlanta Falcons. Here we all work together because we're all convinced we've got to do something to save our children.
It's often said our children are our future. They need us today. Our nation will need them tomorrow. That's why I'm a United Way volunteer. I want my children and all children to have the same opportunities for a bright future that all parents want. Success by 6 is providing children with development skills and the chance at a bright future.
With a solid start in life, a good education, proper nutrition, social development, and plenty of love, perhaps she'll be a doctor, or she might be a businesswoman, or this fellow an airline pilot, or an astronaut, or a farmer. The United Way Success by 6, when we help them, we're ensuring a better tomorrow for all of us.
Your local United Way, helping where help is needed most.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
It's a special Sunday, Unsolved Mysteries, a loving couple, murdered and robbed. This new update shows you the killer our viewers helped bring to justice. A special Sunday, Unsolved Mysteries. Then, eyewitness a death-defying rescue. They risk their own lives for a stranger who lives to tell about it. Eyewitness video following a special Sunday, Unsolved Mysteries, beginning at 7 NBC Sunday.
The book on Buick quality adds yet another chapter. As reported in USA Today, a nationally renowned quality survey has ranked 2 Buicks in its top 10, Buick Regal and Buick Century. Regal topped both Toyota Camry and Honda Accord. And now, qualified buyers can get up to an astounding $1,500 cash back. $1,500, the better value, the better car. See your Western New York Buick dealers now.
This is a railroad tanker. This is the taste of the Rockies. Tanker, Rockies. Actually, a concentrated form of Coors Light leaves Colorado in a tanker and travels to Virginia, where local water dilutes the Rockies concentrate before it's sent to you. So what's it gonna be? The Rockies concentrate or an ice-cold natural light that leaves our local breweries fresh and ready to drink? Like this. Not like this. So drink fresh, cold natural light and don't be railroaded.
Don't miss the making of You Bet Your Life, Thursday at 8:30, only on Channel 2.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
And we welcome you to our New York studios. I'm Dan Hicks. I'll be joined shortly by Will McDonough from Boston with the latest NFL news. But first, there are six other NFL games taking place right now on the final weekend of the preseason, and perhaps the most interesting situation is at Candlestick Park tonight in San Francisco, where the 49ers are hosting Seattle. There had been reports earlier this week that Joe Montana would play tonight, but as you can see, he is not dressed for the occasion. Steve Young is, and Steve Young has the highest non-quarterback in the NFL. Jerry Rice for the touchdown, 22 yards. It is 7-0 San Francisco. And it is right now 17-0. The 49ers lead it in the second quarter. To Riverfront Stadium, Lions visiting the Bengals. Boomer Esiason's back up. The Cincinnati Bengals' first-round pick is not signed, but the second-round pick, Carl Pickens, is, and Boomer Esiason finds him, and the former Tennessee Volunteer does the rest of the work, going all the way, 30 yards for the score. He also had a 22-yard score. Barry Sanders is not playing for the Detroit Lions tonight. Wayne Fonts just wants to give him a rest. That is number 33, Don Overton, who makes some Barry Sanders-like moves before going all the way, 20 yards for the score. He was cut by the Lions last year. He's a Plan B pickup from the Eagles on that broken play, and right now in the third quarter, they are tied at 17. Elsewhere, Cleveland and Tampa Bay, the Browns with a 17-3 lead there. Randy Baldwin had a 95-yard kickoff return to start the second half for Cleveland as the Browns are up 17-3. Indianapolis playing at Arrowhead. Kansas City up 10-7. Mark Herman has a 1-yard pass to Albert Bentley. Mark Herman came in as the third stringer, but Jack Trudeau was just signed yesterday to a 3-year deal for the Colts. So Jack Trudeau trying to get his way back into the starting job since Jeff George is out with a thumb injury, but Mark Herman will start the Colts opener. They are trailing Kansas City 10-7. Phoenix and Denver just underway at Mile High Stadium. The Cardinals 2-1 on the year. Denver 1-3 on the preseason. And the Chicago Bears at Texas Stadium. It is 10-3 Bears at the half. Jim Harbaugh had a 7-yard touchdown pass to Keith Jennings. Well, the Bears are playing tonight without their Pro Bowl center, Jay Hilgenberg. That's because Hilgenberg is no longer a member of the Bears after holding out for all of training camp. Hilgenberg has been traded to the Cleveland Browns. In exchange, the Bears will receive either a second, third, or fourth-round draft pick from Cleveland, depending on Hilgenberg's performance.
I don't like to trade good people, and I don't like to trade good players. But whenever you get boxed into a corner, and the alternative is for him to set out and he has received nothing and you receive nothing, and then you try to get out of that corner. And that's what had happened in this situation.
Leaving Chicago, I'm going to miss the fans, the people in Chicago. They're great. I'll miss my teammates there. But the way that I've been treated here so far, and the way that I've been, the feeling that the commitment to win and everything else, it's going to be great. It'll be an easy adjustment.
Hilgenberg is 32 years old and has been a starter with the Bears since 1983. He agreed to a 2-year deal with Cleveland worth more than $1 million a year. Well, meanwhile, the New York Jets finished their most successful preseason ever with a win last night in Philadelphia. The Jets were 5-0, and it appears that they will start the season with second-year man Brownie Nagel at quarterback. Incumbent Ken O'Brien held out for most of the preseason, and last night he seemed to indicate that Nagel was the guy that the Jets had in mind all along.
Well, I think it's all part of it was all predetermined, and I'm just trying to, actually it's a long season, I'm trying to get in the flow of things so that whether it's next week or the following week or whenever it is, I'm going to be sharp.
I think I performed well. I think I gained a lot of experience, and that was my biggest goal coming into camp, was to gain as much experience and put myself in a position to where, have a chance. So now it's just a matter of letting them make their decisions.
Well, Bruce Coslett has said that he will not make his decision until next week, but Nagel will likely get the nod at quarterback. And while we're not positive of the quarterback situation, we are sure of the Jets' place-kicking duties. They have just waived veteran Raul Alegre, which leaves the kicking duties to Jason Starosky. Well, up next, we are joined by Will McDonough as the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report continues after these messages from your local station.
Hi, I'm in a new show called Rhythm and Blues. Need some advice.
Just be very, very funny. May I suggest an air of mystery, sir? Sexuality, intensity, pop, bang!
Keep it light, keep it friendly. Yes.
Coming Thursdays on NBC, Rhythm and Blues.
Just be yourself.
Okie doke.
In the real world, there can be only one single best time to buy a new car. The real clearance. And you're looking at it. It's truly a buyer's market on 92 Voyagers at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. For under $13,800, you'll even get optional features like automatic and air. The real clearance simply means the best deals of the year. You want real advantages for the real world? You're looking at it. The real model year-end clearance now at your Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Main Street near UB comes alive for Unifest 92, August 29th and 30th.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Nobody knows like Domino's how you like pizza at home.
Welcome back to our studios. Will McDonough has been covering pro football for the Boston Globe since 1960, and he begins his third season on NFL Live. Will joins us now from NBC affiliate WBZ in Boston. And Will, we'll start with the big topic of the day, Jay Hilgenberg being traded to the Cleveland Browns, and the Chicago Bears offensive line not getting any younger these days, and now they lose a 7-time Pro Bowler.
Well, it was strictly a money deal, Dan. You know, Mike McCaskey, the president of the Bears, said that Steve Zucker, Jay Hilgenberg's agent, told him at one time in the negotiations, if you give us $850,000, Jay will sign. They offered $850,000, and then they said, no, it's going to take more. Zucker told me that Jay wanted to be the highest paid center in pro football. Bruce Matthews of the Houston Oilers has that distinction, making $1 million a year. And now with the trade all over with Cleveland, he is the highest paid center. And what's going to happen is if he makes the Pro Bowl again this year, the compensation the Bears will get will be a second-round draft choice.
All right, what about Hilgenberg's former teammate, running back Neil Anderson, hurt for most of last year, but things have not exactly been peachy between Anderson and Coach Mike Ditka, have they?
You're right, Dan. That almost led to a trade, or certainly there were talks about a trade for Anderson going to the Rams. However, this past week, Ditka and Anderson sat down, had a heart-to-heart talk. They came away very happy with one another, and now Neil Anderson is going to stay with the Bears, according to what Mike McCaskey, the president, told me today.
Okay, Deion Sanders appears that the Braves may have gotten the better of that deal. The Atlanta Braves, of course, will have his services for as long as their season lasts. But what was the deal between the football and baseball sides of Deion Sanders' deal, Will?
Well, Danny, the breaking point was this. You know, the Falcons offered Deion $1 million to come back this year and play football, okay? They were trying to work out a deal where he would play 14 football games but take 2 weeks off to go play in the baseball playoffs. The breaking point was when the Falcons said, we're not going to give you the $1 million bonus to do that. We'll only give you $500,000. When they pulled some of the bonus out, that's when Sanders and his people said, no way, we're not making the deal. However, you know, people with the Falcons say the door's not closed. He could still play football before the end of the baseball season if they could work out a better financial deal.
Okay, the San Francisco 49ers doing a bit of wheeling and dealing this week. They trade their sackmaster, Charles Haley, to the Dallas Cowboys for some draft picks. And, Will, maybe this was a case of Haley finally getting his wish.
I think it was a case of George Seifert and Haley both getting their wishes. They've had some problems, a lot of verbal altercations in the last year and a half. They had a bad one, as I understand it, about a week ago. You know, last year at the time of the draft, both Haley and Steve Young, the quarterback, were put out there so that the 49ers could try to accumulate draft choices and rebuild for the future. They really didn't get the offer they wanted on either one of them. But this week, Dallas made them a great offer, and they moved him to Dallas. Now, there was a hitch in this trade. They have told Dallas, you cannot retrade him to anybody who's in the NFC West, our division, and supposedly you can't trade him to the L.A. Raiders.
All right, thanks a lot, Will. We'll, of course, be hearing more from you a week from Sunday as the NFL season gets underway. And here's our lineup on September 6th. It starts at 12:30 p.m. with NFL Live. O.J. Simpson will take a look at Brownie Nagel and the Jets quarterback situation. And then it is regional coverage. Many of you will see Jerry Glanville's Falcons right back in the Georgia Dome hosting the Jets. You can check your local listings for the game and time in your area. But right now, we will send it back to Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy at the new Georgia Dome.
Thank you, Dan Hicks. The Buffalo Bills 17-0 over Atlanta at the intermission. Jim Kelly, very impressive in the early moments of this game. In the first quarter, Bob Trumpy, he was 6 for 7, 100 yards, a couple of quick strikes. It was the Buffalo Bills we saw all of last year.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive thing about Jim Kelly is his command of this offense. He showed it on the first touchdown. Read the blitz well, communicated to his entire offense. Watch Andre Reed in the slot here. Well cleared by Thomas, 87 underneath. Kelly gets good protection. You remember Davis had a big block, picked up the blitzer. Andre Reed goes in for the first score of the night.
Reed, the all-time Buffalo receiver, and that pattern underneath and then just galloping away from the defense, so familiar. The other score came on an Ed Thomas tied in 1-yard pass from Kelly and a 32-yard field goal by the Bills' new kicker, Steve Christie. The Bills will get it first to open this second half. Norm Johnson, the former Seattle Seahawk, had 15 consecutive field goals last year there in Atlanta. Eddie Fuller for Buffalo. Head down to the 22-yard line. Brett Bernays, former Los Angeles Ram, Plan B acquisition, made the tackle.
Frank Reich starts the second half.
Pass from Kelly and a 32-yard field goal by the Bills' new kicker, Steve Christie. The Bills will get it first to open this second half. Norm Johnson, the former Seattle Seahawk, had 15 consecutive field goals last year there in Atlanta. Eddie Fuller for Buffalo. Head down to the 22-yard line. Brett Bernays, former Los Angeles Ram, Plan B acquisition, made the tackle.
Frank Reich starts the second half here.
Reich, a close friend of Boomer Esiason, and here's the #1 draft pick of the Buffalo Bills, John Fina, the 282-pound offensive lineman from Arizona. Let's watch how he does. He was a surprise pick by the Bills. He was second team All Pac-10 last year. Didn't even make the Pac-10 first team, and yet was a first-round draft pick. Griffith, Howard Griffith. Little dance. And has a gain of nearly 5 before Terry Ray, a rookie from Oklahoma, can make the tackle.
You know, when we talked to John Fina last night, I thought it was interesting. I asked him the biggest surprise about the NFL. Only been here a while. He said the speed, just the speed.
Everything happens so quickly.
And the big guys who still have speed.
Right to Griffith again. Good block, and Griffith outside for a first down, and finally wheeled out of bounds at the 39, and a flag goes down. May have been a face mask or a tackle up around the head from Louis Riddick. Tough 216-pound safety.
Looked like that great block was thrown by Brian Baldinger, number 62, out in front of that sweep.
Of the 3 Baldinger boys in the National Football League.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the tackler, a sweep arm blow to the head. 15 from this spot, first down.
Riddick going to the head, and it costs his team 15 yards.
See if we can pick up who in fact made this block. It's 62. That's Baldinger out in front. Yes, he does an excellent job, as does 79. And there you see Riddick with the hand all over the face mask. Not very smart. 79 is Joe Stasiak. 2 good blocks there by backup offensive lineman of the Bills.
On first down from the 46 of Atlanta, it's Kenneth Davis, the Texas Twister, as he was called at TCU, down to the 35-yard line. And our Coors Light halftime statistics reflect the Buffalo advantage, 143-74 in passing yards, and 2-1 in total yards, 210-105. And typically Buffalo with the ball, less time, possession time, 3 minutes less. They were last in the league by far in possession time, reflective of their no-huddle offense. First down, Davis struggles to the 32, a pickup of 3.
Dick, 2 points. One, even though they averaged just over 26 minutes per ball game last year, still scored 458 points. 2, you mentioned earlier about the talent on this football team. Jim Kelly, Kenneth Davis, you see Beebe and James Lofton back there. Let's give credit to Bill Pulley, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, an astute judge of football talent.
Underneath on another first down as Walsh, the rookie from Stanford, with the reception. Reich, nice low throw.
And you see him calling the play at the line of scrimmage. And let's watch the #1 draft choice. John Fina has gained 20 pounds since college. Does an excellent job of pushing the defensive lineman to the ground and wants to gain 10 more. Wants to play next year at 292.
It looked like a broken play as a little naked roll by the quarterback Reich, and right into the arms of Chuck Smith, the rookie from Tennessee, the #2 pick of the Falcons.
You see the game up front. Tim Green outside, Smith inside, number 90. You're right. There was no place for Frank to go. Somebody missed an assignment there somewhere.
And Green still playing starter here in the 3rd quarter. And there's Chuck Smith.
Only
242 is all he weighs.
And what I asked Tim Green, I said, geez, you look thinner. He says, oh, come on. I'm trying to get bigger. He only weighs like 250.
It is a very small defense that Glanville has put together here. Fuller on the screen, read well by the defense. Darryl Hardy flags her down, and Tim Polk, a couple of rookies, Hardy from Tennessee, 10th round pick, and the 7th round selection, Polk from Florida.
As you talk about, as we watch the penalty here
against Atlanta, 5 yards for offside.
You mentioned the
Offside, number 90 defense lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards, repeat, second down.
Well, that's Smith, 242 pounds, but because of the lack of size in this defensive line, they have to game stunt. You see, he's lined up in the neutral zone. They have to game, they have to stunt, they have to shoot for gaps. You can't assign a 242-pound defensive end to a 282-pound offensive tackle all day. You'll wear him out in about half of the football season.
Left tackle charged with a blocking Smith as Wright calls a new play. And it's Griffith doing a tightrope along the near sidelines and out of bounds at the 18-yard line. Very close. Well, not quite to a first down, but 5 yards. It'll bring up third down.
Interesting that the Buffalo Bills are really, tonight, they have run a lot of the counter gap. You see it coming right at you. See the running back on the far side of the quarterback. You try to hold the linebacker there, get a block on him. Griffith runs it well.
Griffith, in his first full year, he was a 237th player selected last year by Indianapolis and then released, and the Bills signed him for the developmental squad. We won't have a squad this year. He's got 41 yards tonight, playing for Carwell Gardner. Right to Eddie Fuller, and Fuller is down at the 3-yard line. First and goal, Buffalo.
Dick, I got to tell you, this black wave defense of the Atlanta Falcons that is supposed to be all over everybody doing nothing. Here's the running back, runs an excellent pattern. The coverage comes from here, but he never gets there in time. Reich almost has to wait on the running back to turn around and look at it. Then he dumps a little bit up inside. Excellent play by Eddie Fuller. Nice pickup, first and goal. I don't know where this defense is. Now remember that Buffalo played last Monday night.
And most of them now in the black uniform are second and third stringers. Some 13 of them won't be here a week from Sunday. In fact, on Monday, the final cut. It's Fuller. He has a touchdown. A flag is down.
Field judge watches tight ends.
You should know that.
12 men on defense. Penalty decline.
Still couldn't stop Fuller.
Well, nice try, Jerry. It didn't work. Excellent job by this backup defensive line. Baldinger 62 leading out, Griffith 29. But you got to give most of the credit to Eddie Fuller. He cuts back inside, takes on 2 tacklers, still gets in the end zone.
(23-0) as Christie comes in to try the point after. And Buffalo up by 24 early in the third.
Just to prove it, there are 7 here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the official. There's the 12.
The last thing the average person wants is the average car. That's why the new Mazda brought you the return of the pure sports car, the all-new RX-7, and the return of the Roadster, the Miata. That's why our 626 feels personal, and our MX-6 feels timeless. It's why every Mazda will fulfill its promise in a way no other car can.
Hi. You know why Quaker State asked me to be their spokesman? Because I'm tough. Quaker State is tough. Tough on wear and tough on sludge. If you use Quaker State in your new car's engine, they'll guarantee it for 250,000 miles or 10 years in writing. Quaker State is one tough motor oil. So naturally, they asked me because I'm tough. You don't think it's because they think I'm oily.
Burger King has a deal that's really making some noise. Every time you buy a Whopper meal, you get a 16-ounce Coke glass free. That's a plain broiled Whopper sandwich, medium Coca-Cola Classic, medium fries, and a Coke glass free. Sounds sweet, huh? Collect the whole set, and you'll be seriously jamming. Not to mention the tasty fringe benefits. I heard that.
Don't wait, find a way at Burger King now.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by the new Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Burger King, where you get it your way right away. We don't serve billions, we serve individuals. By cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? And by Quaker State, the big Q is one tough motor oil.
Buffalo strikes on the opening series of the second half. Eddie Fuller, 2 yards for the touchdown, capping a 77-yard drive in 9 plays. 24-0 Bills, showing why they are the pick of the AFC East and maybe the entire AFC again. Christie's kick. Derek Moore's got some open field and crosses out to the 36-yard line. 31 yards on the return. It wasn't Deion Sanders on that return, and Thurman Thomas says, I miss Deion.
Look at his face.
Well, he's not the only one. And in talking with the Falcon players, and in particular Tim Green, and relating that Deion is such a good team player, not just an exciting, outstanding player. What did he say, Tim Green say about the speed of Sanders?
He said it was shocking. He'd never been around anybody with that kind of speed. The story I liked on Deion was that he has to put a sign out in front of his house sometimes to keep the kids away from his house who want autographs. He signs so many autographs, sometimes he just says, kids, give me a break today. So he puts a sign out there.
Closed today. Number 84, Carl Miller, with his first catch today. Let's go down to Gail Gardner.
All right, Dick, thank you very much. I'm with Bill Polian, the general manager. A little bit different than Friday night against Kansas City, huh?
Yeah, a little bit different story, fortunately.
I understand that you met with Cornelius Bennett's agent today with Mr. Parker. How did that go?
Well, I met with him. As always, it's cordial and very professional. But as Yogi said, it ain't over till it's over, and he isn't signed.
Are you close?
I don't know. I really can't say.
A quick question about the situation between the players, obviously, and the management. You're on the committee that's really in charge of this whole thing. Are we at the point now where we're hurting this game? And are we going to get this resolved? I mean, it's in the courts right now. This could drag on forever.
It could, unfortunately, and that seems to be the way it looks. I'm just a member of the working group. There are a great many outstanding owners on the committee, among them Al Davis, Wellington Mara, Dan Rooney, the best minds in the game. But the people on the other side have changed their position so much that they pretty much alienated everybody on our side, and it doesn't look very promising at all. In fact, it doesn't look like there's much of a chance at all of ever reaching agreement.
Are you talking?
No, there are no talks at the moment.
Any talks planned?
Not that I know of.
It's just going to hang on like this with no agreement.
Unfortunately, it seems that way. The commissioner has said that agreement is possible and that we'd like to do it, but it takes two to tango.
No agreement, no expansion.
I believe the commissioner said that. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill. Let's go back to Dick.
Thank you, Gail. And Bill Polian, the commissioner, did indeed say that. They had no fumble ruled down. There was quite a delay there. There was an injury to Matt Darby, a rookie from UCLA, Buffalo defensive back, and that's why we had an opportunity to extend the interview with Mr. Polian. And here's the last play. Oh, this is the play in which Darby, number 43, is injured. He's a fifth-round pick, and Buffalo, from what we could read between the lines, Bob, looked like he might make the club. He's back in there.
Yeah, it looked like he just had a hit on the arm, but he is back. Big kid, 6'1", 200 pounds.
First down, Atlanta at the 46-yard line. Falcons territory as Tolliver goes to work. Bullseye at the 42, first down again. As Sean Collins hangs on. Good hit by Manny Hendricks.
You know, this may be some very good advertising for Sean Collins. As we've documented, the run and shoot requires small, quick, very fast receivers. Collins is big, sure-handed, not the same kind of speed. We understand that Tampa might have some interest in Sean Collins, but this is a young man, a first-round draft choice 4 years ago out of Northern Arizona that can play in the NFL. It's just a matter of finding the right spot for him.
And Atlanta with a boat full of luxury wide receivers. And Andre Rison yet to sign. On first down, Tolliver. Nothing there.
Dick, let me add one other bit to that equation about Sean Collins. With the injuries over the last week to the defensive players of the Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta might be a lot more interested in shipping Sean Collins for some defensive help.
At last play, Carl Miller the catch. Eric Coleman making the defensive play for Buffalo, and a loss of 1.5 yards.
You saw those numbers for Sean Collins, 95 career, 58 his rookie year.
Atlanta trying to get that red gun to produce some points. They trail 24-0 with 7:15 left in the third quarter. On the draw. This is their top rookie, Tony Smith. First down at the 20. Might be the longest run of the preseason, 24 yards.
An I formation running back in college had to learn a lot of things in the NFL, including pass protection. Last week stood next to Jerry Glanville because he missed a pass protection assignment. That's his 9th carry of the night.
46 yards for Smith. Falcons in scoring range now. First down at the 20. Tolliver to Collins. Gain of 9 more. Tackled by Eric Coleman.
Dick, one of the things that is very apparent about this run and shoot when you begin to see it, watch Sean Collins' eyes. Constantly looking downfield. These receivers must read coverage as they're moving off the line of scrimmage. Coordinate that with the quarterback, and then they're looking for the open spot. A very difficult offense as a receiver to run.
Smith. He may have fallen forward at the first down in the grasp of Derek Brownlow, a pickup from the Dallas Cowboys on Plan B.
That was a very nice play by Brownlow. Filled the hole very well. 5'10", 240 pounds.
Fighting Illini, your part of the world.
Keep sending them in there. We'll find some that can play.
He had more tackles than Butkus or Nitschke, Hall of Famers, Scott Studwell. He had a great 4 years in Champaign. First and goal for Tolliver and the Falcons. Under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Touchdown, Jason Phillips.
Here's Phillips. He just goes down in the middle, and it's a busted coverage by the Buffalo Bills. The closest man is Kurt Schultz. Half of them were playing man-to-man, half of them were playing zone. When you get 2 and 3 deep in this defense, you're going to have mental mistakes.
Oh, Phillips, who's had a big night. 6 catch. First Atlanta score. Extra point makes it 24-7.
So you just got a cash advance, did you? Too bad you used an ordinary credit card. Because you could be carrying some very heavy interest charges. Why not carry the Discover card? Just pay your full monthly balance and a small transaction fee, and we'll forget the interest. Which means our money comes with no strings attached. It pays to Discover.
This is our vision of what a luxury sedan should be. Not because it offers rich leather and anti-lock brakes, but because it comes standard with an airbag on the driver's side and the passenger side as well, creating a luxury sedan where even peace of mind is shared. The new 929, the first luxury sedan from the new Mazda.
It just feels right.
It was unreal. You woke up with morning breath. You were meeting Miss Wonderful for breakfast, and instead of minty fresh scope... Where's my scope? There was something from the medicine-y mouthwash. It looked blue, but it still smelled somewhat medicine-y. I need my scope. It's okay. Relax. It was all a dream. You do have scope. It's minty through and through and kills 90% of morning breath bacteria. So you use minty fresh scope, and you kiss morning breath goodbye.
There's time for only one more snap of the football. It's 3rd and long. They need one incredible play to turn this game around. They're set. It's all down to this one play.
Did you break this?
Unbelievable.
Watching TV will never be the same. Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt are Mad About You, Wednesdays this fall on NBC.
Jason Phillips trying to protect his territory in that crowded wide receiver collection for Atlanta Falcons. 6 catches, a touchdown. The leading receiver in the preseason. Third-year man from the Houston Cougars as Norm Johnson onside kick. And the Falcons, I believe, have recovered. It went to 10 yards.
They actually waited on it, didn't they?
Yeah, they caught the Bills retreating. And now maybe in the scramble underneath, Buffalo got it after all. Yes, they did. Boy, that was one tremendous effort by number 57, Brownlow. He was outmanned. He was the only white jersey in the area.
Everyone else on that front line of the return team, we got a man down here for
Oscar Giles.
Oscar Giles is down. Norm Johnson with an excellent job. Boy, you can see the way Giles got hurt. See his ankle and knee turn under. Recovery by Buffalo. We'll come back and give you another look at that injury.
What's up, Jake? What up? Where's Calvin? At the J.O.B., man. What? He's still flipping those burgers at Mickey D's. Here's your order.
Thanks, Calvin.
When he could be kicking it with us, man. Having big fun. He says he has a plan, man. Meet the newest member of our management team, Calvin.
Congratulations.
All right, Calvin. Yep, I'm part of the management team now, Mama. Don't rip my boy too hard now. Yeah, he does wear some fresh clothes.
Yo, Calvin.
Welcome to the hood. May we help you? Not much, man. Well, I'm out. Hey, yo, Calvin. You know, what's the word on that job thing? Come on, man. You know, not for me. For a friend of mine.
Once in a great while, a car comes along with such timeless beauty, such intrepid performance, you can't help but make predictions. What do you do when you think something is destined to be a collector's item? You put one away for safekeeping. The new MX-6 from the new Mazda.
Mazda, it just feels right.
Then again, who can wait that long?
With Minwax polyurethane, you can do more than admire your wood. You can live with it, too, because Minwax contains pure urethane oil to protect wood while giving it beauty you can really live with. Minwax keeps wood beautiful.
In 2 weeks, the pride and tradition of Notre Dame football returns to NBC as the Fighting Irish square off against one of their fiercest rivals, Big Ten champion Michigan. It's Heisman Trophy favorite Rick Meyer versus Michigan field general Elvis Gerback in this battle of 2 top 10 teams. Notre Dame football is home on NBC.
The injured Oscar Giles helped off the field after a tremendous injury that appeared to be much more serious when we first saw the replay. Brownlow recovering the onside kick for the Bills, and Gail Gilbert is the quarterback now for Buffalo. Brad Lamb with the catch at the 39, a gain of 6. And here's the injury, and it's a frightening replay.
But he did get up. He did walk out. It's his right ankle. Watch closely. If there's not a break in that ankle, he's bionic. And they helped him off the field, but another injury on this turf. Well,
It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Eddie Fuller has a touchdown. Hit hard by Polk. Who's played a good game, Tim Polk. He's a 7th-round draft pick from Florida. And with a shortage of linebackers with injuries, he might just be winning himself a spot on this Falcon defense. You notice the 10-minute ticker, and it's all on a computer this year. Every 10 minutes on NBC, you will get the scores of the other games. So on Sunday, you want to know how your favorite team's doing? Be with us. You can count on it. On the 10-minute mark, all the scores will appear.
The report on Oscar Giles is he just has an ankle sprain. Can you believe that?
Gilbert on 3rd down. And it's Fuller again, taking 5 men to bring him down. 1st down, Buffalo at the 32.
Well, we've seen Kenneth Davis tonight and Eddie Fuller. We knew Davis was an impressive running back, and now with a 3rd quarterback, Eddie Fuller continues to be a very impressive contributor to this offense.
Well, you know, we met Bill Polian, the general manager, earlier with Gail Gardner. It's his 9th year. He came to this franchise when they were consistent losers. They were the doormats, and he's built this to the powerhouse of the AFC. Not always with the best draft picks. Many of the stars of this Buffalo team, 3rd, 4th, 8th, 9th round picks. Fuller was the 100th player selected. As a fumble, I guess he did hang on as Howard Griffith goes down in the grasp of Tim Green, and that's a bit surprising that Green, a regular, is playing here deep into the 3rd quarter.
You know, you talked about Bill Polian. He was the guy who orchestrated the Jim Kelly deal to get him back to the NFL and in a Buffalo Bills uniform. It was very complicated.
How about Cornelius Bennett?
How about Cornelius Bennett?
Derek Dickerson and all those number 1s and a 3-way deal. 2nd down and 12. Gilbert almost deflected to Fuller through the hands of the tight end, Nate Turner. Butler and Chuck Smith come in defensively. This crowd trying to get the Falcons to rally from 24-0 down. It's now 24-7.
You know, speaking of the crowd, I think they have to have dress rehearsals in this stadium. You know, get a little more used to the way they do in Seattle. They do the wave when the opponent has the ball on offense. The people in Seattle know how to use a dome.
Well, it'll be noisy here in the Georgia Dome. Atlanta fans know how to cheer. And now in an enclosed structure, it's going to be tough on the opposition. Gilbert on top, wide open is Lamb. Overthrown. He beat Fred Fogel.
Blitzed by Atlanta, well read by Gail Gilbert, and an excellent battered run. You see Fogey jumps inside, figuring it's the cross. Good protection. Lamb is saying, come on, I don't get many chances to catch a touchdown pass in the NFL. Lay it in my hands.
It'll be a 52-yard attempt by Steve Christie. He kicked one 54 yards when he was with the Buccaneers. That's way off to the right.
And I must tell you, Sam Weitz is a friend of mine. When they lost Steve Christie, they thought they lost one of the best kickers in the NFL. He's not performed to that level so far this preseason for Buffalo.
Get in line, stay in step, or maybe you'd rather go your own way. In which case, check out the all-new 93 626 ES from the new Mazda, the company that's put a twist on everything from luxury cars to roadsters. Now we've done the same to sedans. With a V6, an airbag, and ABS. Introducing the all-new Mazda 626.
Mazda, it just feels right.
Wouldn't it be great if you could afford a luxurious mansion? For you and all your friends? Of course, the place needed some updates. Like a bowling alley and a pool table. Naturally, you'd have an open house. Food's here! With beer!
Harold, do something!
Icy, cold-filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. Bottle beer cased in a can. Now, wouldn't that be great?
This is the time to use Ace Paint. Hey, Ace knows what it takes to make great paint, because Ace makes its own. Ace Paint, top quality in every drop, guaranteed.
Ace 7-Star, their best latex house paint, is just $11.99 a gallon.
Another reason Ace is the place for you.
Athlete's foot. Every year, over 28 million Americans get it. Try NP27. Its doctor-recommended ingredient stops burning and itching fast. NP27. Nothing's a better cure for athlete's foot. For pro volleyball's best beach boys, it all comes down to this. The biggest payday, the tour's final event, the Miller Lite U.S. Championships, live this weekend on NBC.
With Bob Trumpy, Dick Enberg, welcome back to the Georgia Dome. Late in the third period, Buffalo leading the Falcons 24-7. You see Bill Fralick, a starting guard, and the starting center, Jamie Dukes, still in for Atlanta, and there's a reason why two regulars will be playing this late in the preseason in the game. There's Jason Phillips with another catch. And out of bounds at midfield, Manny Hendricks with a tackle. 16 more yards, Tolliver to Phillips. And Jerry Glanville called it Bud Granting.
Yeah, Bud Grant used to bring his team in late. And we had 6 exhibition games back then. He would play all of his starters, all 6 exhibition games. He said that they're here to get in shape. We're going to make sure they're in shape. So when Jerry Glanville says, you show up late in camp for me, I'm going to Bud Grant you. You're going to play as many downs as you possibly can. Ken and Hinton have been here through the entire camp, so they get to stand on the sideline and laugh at the guys who came in late.
Dukes and Fralick getting some extra work. There's Tony Smith breaking tackles to the 30-yard line. A gain of about 50, make that 19 yards.
This Tony Smith has made an excellent impression. You see it's the option by Billy Joe Tolliver. Breaks a tackle there, runs right through the arms of a Buffalo defender.
Dwight Drain unable to bring him down, as Tony Smith now was 65 yards rushing on the night.
They want this kid. If it can't be him, they also have Broussard, but they like his size, they like his speed, they like his strength. They want him to be this super back in the run and shoot.
Steve Broussard and Keith Jones are the other running backs. They're both being rested, will be available on opening day. Tolliver too long for George Thomas.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chris Hale, a nice little veteran move. Just got his hand on Thomas enough. Thomas, another one of those world-class sprinters. There's just enough contact to slow him down and make the pass incomplete.
2nd and 10 from the 30 of the Bills. 33 seconds left in the third quarter. An Atlanta touchdown would give these folks in Georgia hope that their home team can rally from 24 up and down. The option again. And Smith unable to kick his way free from Drain this time. So Drain run over on the last option play, but makes the tackle this time.
The option near side. You know the quarterback's not going to keep it in the NFL. He's always going to pitch it to the running back. Smith this time has Drain waiting for him for little or no gain.
And that will be the last play of the third quarter. Buffalo 24, Atlanta 7 will return to Georgia after these messages from your local station.
Sunday, eyewitness a death-defying rescue. They risked their own lives to save a stranger who lived to tell about it. Eyewitness video at 8 following a special Sunday Unsolved Mysteries on NBC.
What day is it today, Max?
Rosie? Rosie, you're just in time.
Yeah, problem is, Brady, we had a bad front rolling in.
Bad? What do you mean bad?
I mean it's soup up here, Brady.
Soup.
Brady! Yeah, but you can land, right?
Ah, negative. Best I can do is make a pass. Drop one thing.
One.
What's it gonna be, Brady? Brady!
There are some things in life people that do just about anything for. Smooth, refreshing Stroh's. It's not just any beer.
Catch you next time, Brady.
It's Stroh's.
Any requests?
Pretzels.
This is a test pattern. This is a wallpaper pattern.
This, on the other hand, is a Jerry Rice pattern. So is this and this. How can Jerry do so many patterns? Because he goes to one of these, picks up 2 of these, and does lots of this. All of which help him make hundreds of these and a fair amount of that. Nike shoes, cross-training, fortune and fame. Nike shoes, cross-training, fortune and fame. Is there a pattern developing here? Jerry, do you see a pattern? Hello?
Don't miss the making of You Bet Your Life, Thursday at 8:30, only on Channel 2.
Jim Kelly, he posted the 14 early. Touchdown passes to Andre Reed and tight end Ed Thomas. 24-7 now as we start the 4th quarter. Kelly was for 7, 100 yards. 3rd down and 7 for the Falcons. They're at the Buffalo 27. Billy Joe Tolliver at quarterback. Rookie Tony Smith with 67 yards, the tailback. Whoops. Flag goes down. Smith with a jerky start. The throw to Collins, who is hammered by Manny Hendricks. Incomplete. 2 flags are down.
Yeah, you got 2 choices here. Offsides or illegal procedure by the offense. The offense usually loses this battle.
Well, it might be both ways, where the official pointing at Buffalo.
Illegal motion. Deep back on the offense. Offside, number 66 on the defense. Penalties offset. Still 3rd down.
Good call, Dick Enberg. Good call. That doesn't happen often.
66 on the defense, did he say? That's that Jerry Crafts who plays offense. He's so big, his shadow caused a 5-yard penalty. He's over on the sidelines. That's 66 on the offense.
Yeah. We're talking about 66 for Buffalo.
And there he is. He said, boy, things going rotten for me. I'm just trying to make a club, and these guys are whistling me. Tolliver. Underneath he goes to Thomas. Oh, you could see that speed generating. He's down to the 20 and close to a 1st down.
They call this the slip screen. And the key is that this ball's got to be thrown inside. He waits for the offensive lineman for the kick-out block. There you see it made. But actually, the corner does an excellent job of getting back out there. Chris Hale to make the tackle.
It is shy of the 1st down by about a half yard as they mark it almost at the 21. Well, with 14 minutes, 19 seconds to go in this final period. Eric Pegram comes in for Tony Smith as the running back. And Pegram struggling. It's going to be close as the Bills stacking it up right at the 20. It'll depend on the mark. And this most certainly will be measured. James Patton, the rookie from Texas, number 93, making another good play submarining, and Kurt Schultz up from the secondary. He's a rookie 7th-round pick from Eastern Washington. 1st down.
Tagliabue written on that football. Not by much.
Now that keeps the interest of the locals. Falcons, who will open at home against the New York Jets, who are striding tall after a 5-0 preseason. Tolliver. Second option is Phillips. Intercepted. It's Schultz, Kurt Schultz. And he's back to the 14-yard line. So the 206-pound safety from Yakima, Washington. He had 17 interceptions at Eastern Washington. Picks off a beauty.
Boy, he does a great job on the catch here as you see Phillips turn up. Watch Schultz reach right back over his arms. Excellent catch by Schultz for the interception.
Had a fumble recovery for a touchdown against the Lions. Timeout.
Both Visa and American Express Gold cards can get you to La Roche-Guyon, one of the prettiest towns in France. But should something go wrong here, only Visa Gold can get you out.
You had to come to France, right?
Don't start, Marty.
Because La Roche-Guyon's only towing service
No, we're not getting a tow truck. I can get this out.
doesn't take American Express. Oui? Visa Gold, delivering what really matters.
Jamal's France.
Honey, that means I eat France.
It's everywhere you want to be.
Low prices on Duracell batteries.
Don't you love it when you test the battery and find it's still alive?
What do we do before these testers?
I shudder to think about it.
Hey, Kmart's got Fruit of the Loom Boys Breeze on sale, and there's a $2 rebate.
What's a rebate?
It's like an allowance.
Do you have to keep your room clean to get it? Good deal.
With Kmart's low prices, everything is saying, buy me, buy me.
Funny, I didn't hear a thing.
You ought to try new KFC popcorn chicken. Bite-sized morsels of tender, crispy chicken, delicious. I call them the Colonel's Kernels. Get it?
New KFC popcorn chicken, a fun deal in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
Saturdays this fall on NBC. From Boy in the Hood, Morris Chestnut.
We are living large, man.
From White Men Can't Jump, Dwayne Martin. Grammy winner, Patti LaBelle.
Ooh, I'm scared of you.
From the creators of The Fresh Prince, Out All Night, Saturdays this fall on NBC.
Jerry Glanville, 3-0 down in the turnover column, and trails 24-7, denied on an excellent interception by the rookie Schultz. Gail Gilbert to the sidelines, and Brad Lamb out of bounds at the 21. That'll be a 26-yard line and a first down.
Pretty play. You want to see big? Again, Kraft's pushing people around at 360 or 80 pounds. He's carrying a little extra baggage there, but this is an excellent pattern run by Lamb. Well done by Gail Gilbert. Comes back for the football. Nice reception for a first down. Boy, I wish they all worked that way.
Lamb is from Little Anderson, Indiana College, an NAIA Division II school. He drafted a year ago in the 8th round. Howard Griffith, a yard or two on first down, and Tim Green, the veteran from Syracuse, still playing.
I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know why Tim Green is playing this much.
3.83 out of a possible perfect 4 as a student at Syracuse University in English literature. It's really uplifting to have a chat with an athlete, anyone that speaks and handles himself so wonderfully in conversation as one we had yesterday. Eddie Fuller out to the 35-yard line. A yard and a half shy of a first down as nose tackle Torrey Epps does a good job of trailing the play.
You know, you mentioned Tim Green and his grade point average and his intelligence after meeting John Fina, the offensive tackle of the Buffalo Bills, first-round draft choice last night. I'd like for those two to meet. Fina last night said, I said, what do you do for hobbies? He says, I read Russian literature. As a hobby, you say, you read Russian literature. Yeah, sure, of course you do. He's the young man who is dating a professional golfer, Michelle McGann, who is a rising star on the LPGA. Russian literature for entertainment.
He said, I didn't watch it. I'd rather read than watch the NFL when I was in college. Over the top goes Kenneth. Oh, now it's Eddie Fuller, and he's close to a first down. Let's watch the #1 pick of the Bills, John Fina. Number 70.
Inside, good drive technique at Arizona. Probably did a lot of that. There wasn't a great deal of pass protection. And this is Michelle McGann. This was at the Women's Kemper in Hawaii on Maui. Michelle McGann is a very long hitter, a very athletic golfer. And she is a young lady that's going to be on that tour for a lot of years.
They didn't let any people come and watch that tournament? I mean,
oh, no, there were lots of people that watched that tournament, but that was on the front side.
I see. Oh, I don't know much about you. You're the golf expert. I just seemed like kind of lonely out there. John Fina. And he was serious. He said, you know, in college, I did watch a lot of football as a kid, and I was a Steeler fan and loved the linebackers, Ham and Lambert. But in college, you know, I had my own games, and then I had to study. Yeah. So I didn't really watch much of the NFL.
So he wants to be a doctor. He wants to be a pediatrician.
Father's a physician.
Orthopedist. Whoops, don't catch it.
Waldinger was the closest white jersey to that pass.
They were trying for a screen out there, but the running back that was the intended receiver kind of got caught up in the wash, couldn't get out.
Can you idea? You played 10 years in the league and you went to 4 Pro Bowls, and you were in this spot as a rookie, and from what I gather from you and your former assistant coach Bill Walsh, you didn't really know whether you'd make it in the NFL about this time?
Absolutely not. I was scared to death. There were 23 guys at my position. We played 6 exhibition games, but
illegal motion by the Bills.
I guess foolishly, I must admit to you that I went to Paul Brown and asked him. I had teammates who said, "You're nuts for going in there."
False start prior to the snap, right side of the offensive line. 5 yards, still second
You
down.
went to head coach Paul Brown?
And yes, and there was a writer from Columbus named Paul Hornung who can confirm this story. I walked in the office and I said, "My wife is about to give birth to my first son. If I'm not going to make this team this week, I'm leaving for Los Angeles to be there for the birth. If I'm going to make it, she needs to come here next week." He shook his leg like he used to do and kind of arched his eyebrows and said, "Why don't you bring her here?" And told his son Mike to write me a check for $1,000 because if I made the team, I got $1,000. I went back up to the room 3 floors high. This was in the middle of July. I was sweating from head to toe and didn't realize it. I just made the Cincinnati Bengals.
There's a turnover, and that was a fumble and a touchdown for Tim Polk. Polk, the man who has had a good game defensively and is rewarded with a touchdown. Darryl Hardy, number 50, created the fumble. Another rookie.
Well, the one thing you could say about Jerry Glanville's defense, they are relentless. They don't give up. Excellent blitz from the outside. Comes from the top of the screen, all over Gilbert. That's number 50, Darryl Hardy, who caused it. Polk picks it up and runs it in for a score. 11-yard return. Last year, the Falcons scored on 6 returns. 4 fumbles returned for touchdowns.
And the extra point by Norm Johnson, and with 10.5 minutes left, Atlanta is back in the game.
This is light.
Spring light.
Those are great.
Wow!
These are light?
Give me more!
Wait. Let's put Pringles Light up against these bag chips. There's 25% less fat in Pringles than in these.
You're talking my language.
And they're a lot less greasy. A lot less.
That's great.
Fantastic. These are great.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
But I don't have to.
Mitsubishi believes that a luxury car should offer something beyond the usual luxuries. It may be extraordinary power and control, a consummate blend of comfort and performance, or a state-of-the-art 4-wheel drive system. The 3000 GT, the Diamante, the Montero. Lease the luxury car of your choice. Only $399 a month for 36 months. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Last time I stained my house with that other brand. This time, I'm using Thompson Stain.
Only Thompson's House Index Stain contains Thompson's Water Seal. It waterproofs better than even the leading brand's premium stain.
Now that's beautiful protection.
Thompson Stain.
This is the time to use Ace Paint. Hey, Ace knows what it takes to make great paint because Ace makes its own. Ace Paint, top quality in every drop, guaranteed.
Ace 7-Star, their best interior flat latex, is just $10.97 a gallon.
Another reason Ace is the place for you.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it. By Pringles, so fresh, once you pop, you can't stop. And by Ace Hardware. Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
Well, the Georgia Dome on its feet. Fans applauding the Falcons' comeback from 24-0 down, 24-14. They tried an onside kick the last time and apparently will again here as they overload the left side but take a lot of time. So now all the Bills are able to rush up and cover. Now this is good practice for the regular year. Well done. Number 55 for the Bills, Mark Maddox from Northern Michigan. Jerry Glanville's alma mater makes the play.
In case you're wondering, Maddox can run that ball in. That's a free ball once it goes 10 yards. The ball is kicked into the ground by Norm Johnson. Actually,
doesn't have to go 10 yards.
Not for the receiving team. For the receiving team, it does not have to go 10 yards. He could run it in, but a nice recovery.
First down, Buffalo at the 32 of Atlanta.
I'm kind of surprised he did that. Last exhibition game, last quarter of the exhibition season, 1992.
Gail Gilbert from the University of California, Berkeley, the quarterback, the third-string quarterback for the Bills. Oh, smothered in the backfield. Another big play by Darryl Hardy. And Hardy, a 10th-round pick from Tennessee. He's not very big. They list him at 220, maybe not that heavy. He is to be remembered for a very big play in the collegiate season last year. Notre Dame led Tennessee going into the half 31-7, tried a field goal to make it 34-7. Hardy blocked it. Tennessee took it for a touchdown, made it 34-14, and the Volunteers rallied in the second half to win that game. It all started with Hardy's blocked field goal. Gilbert to Chris Walsh, and he does show sure hands. Gilbert showing a strong back again.
Yes. He has gotten up off this carpet here in the Georgia Dome a lot, and the Atlanta Falcons are blitzing on every single play, trying to come up with a big turnover. The 51 on the outside, 72. Barnett comes untouched. You're supposed to have blocking assignments that work from the inside out. If anybody's going to hit the quarterback, he should come from the complete outside. Somebody missed the blocking assignment.
On third down, underneath to Fuller. And he's wrapped up on a solid tackle by Louis Riddick and Brett Fernández. Fourth down, and on comes the field goal unit as Chris Moore, the punter, will hold for Steve Christie. Marv Levy, whose expertise is special teams, as assistant many years in the NFL. That was his working role under George Allen with the Rams for many years. And he has Christie out there to try a 49-yard attempt. He's made good from 32, missed from 52. Blocked by the Falcons, and it spins dead down at the 13-yard line. Touched by the Falcons and covered by Buffalo. That's a big mistake by Atlanta. They didn't need to touch the ball, but did, and Jim Kelly says we'll take the fourth turnover of the game.
Boy, you sure hope the guy that did that for his sake is a rookie, and you can just blame it on inexperience. It looked like Rod Sadler was the man up the middle who made the block.
And as Levy works on special teams with Buffalo, so does Glanville with his club, the Falcons. Of course, Glanville really calls offenses, defenses, and special teams as well.
Blocks normally come from the outside, but on long field goal attempts, they seem to come more from the inside. It's 94 from the Atlanta Falcons. Sadler, who makes the block, gets his hand up. Rod Sadler, and then let's hope this is just inexperience. Or is somebody trying to pull a cute stunt here?
That's Tim McKyer.
Well, he knows better than that.
Well, but he's known for a cute stunt and now and then, too.
Wow.
Well, that's why he's won from San Francisco to Miami to Atlanta in the last 3 years. Tim Green's still in there.
Yeah, I guess you can't presume that every player on the field knows all the rules. You just can't presume that if you're a head coach. But as much attention as Jerry Glanville plays or pays to the special teams, I'm sure he has lectured his players as to what to do after a block kick.
A blocked field goal in play is a returnable kick.
Exactly.
So when you try to return it, as did McKyer touch it, it was a live ball. Fuller buried at the 3-yard line, bringing up third and goal.
I'm trying to justify my mind why Tim McKyer would do that. Did he think that ball was hit by the offense. Maybe it hit into the middle of the offensive lineman, and then I'm not sure what would ever justify high risk. Yeah, under today's rules by picking that or taking a chance with that ball.
Gilbert to Chris Walsh, and it's incomplete. Signal touchdown, but he did not have possession as Terry Ray, the younger brother of the former Jets defensive back Darrell Ray, made the play, bringing up 4th down.
You see Walsh run the little drag pattern to the outside. His hands, whoa! He puts his hands up, and then he sees the football and motions incomplete.
Christie to try his 4th field goal. He's 1 for 3. This one a chip shot from 21. The last one was blocked from 49. And Buffalo builds its lead to 27-14. 7:09 left.
Car and Driver has named it to its 10 best list 4 years in a row. Now, there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse you can lease for just $500 down and as little as $149 a month. But hurry, this Eclipse will soon disappear. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Hey, you think you're busy? 2 words, Deion Sanders. He's scoring touchdowns, he's hitting triples, he's getting his hair done. He's wearing 7,000 pounds worth of clothing, he's hanging with his posse, he's out of control. He's washing his cars, he's riding in his helicopter. He's babysitting his daughter, he's tying his shoes. He's still out of control. He's so busy he needs 2 nicknames, Prime Time and Neon Deion. Okay? But he's still hitting the bike, the weights, the road, and the pool. And you know what? He's still out of control. I think you hear me knocking, and I think I'm coming in, and I got Deion and his 27 nicknames with me. Need a nickname? Maybe he'll lend you one. Wrong!
Willie Mays, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth. 3 sports legends now on the legendary box. Wheaties limited edition collector boxes. Get them before their history.
Are annual credit card fees sending you through the roof? Carry the card that charges no annual fee and stay on firm financial ground. It pays to discover.
The New York Jets. After a playoff appearance and their best preseason ever, they're ready for takeoff into the NFL's elite. The Atlanta Falcons. Last year's playoff surge proved these contenders are too legit to quit. Now, 2 teams on the rise collide. The NFL season begins September 6th.
Back at the $214 million new Georgia Dome. They're trying for the NCAA Final Four. They have the Super Bowl in 1994. Steve Christie, who was 2 for 4 kicking field goals. Derek Moore, the deep man for Atlanta. Oh, he gets a good foot into that one, 7 yards deep in the end zone.
You saw that stat on the Buffalo Bills and Scott Norwood last year. They expect an awful lot out of this young man. You know, you can't go into every season expecting to score 58 touchdowns. You're going to need a field goal kicker now and then. Strong leg, but he's not really performed very well so far this preseason.
Well, they had Norwood last year for field goals and Brad DeLusso to kick off. Yeah. DeLusso's now with Dallas, so Christie, if he can kick off like that, really does fill an extra position. It gives Marv Levy another man on the roster.
But when you play in Buffalo, bad weather, you want a sure-footed kicker up there late in the season. You want more than 4 for 9 out of Steve Christie.
Wade Wilson, the former Viking, the veteran from East Texas State. He comes out throwing and incomplete. Sean Collins.
And talking to Atlanta Falcons people, they want to keep all 3 of these quarterbacks. They want Wade Wilson to stay here, Tolliver to be the backup to Chris Miller. They want Wade Wilson to catch on to what's going on in this offense, just like Joe Tolliver has. It's Chris Miller. One of the most accurate long throwers I think you can find in the NFL.
All 3 men have been starters. Miller, a hitting star quarterback for Atlanta. Wilson batted in the air and incomplete. Almost an interception for a defensive man. Number 92 for the Bills, Gary Boldinger. He's the nose tackle. Brother Brian, an offensive lineman.
Wilson does a good job of avoiding the sack, but again, late down the middle, you're taking a chance. And that ball rockets off somebody's shoulder pads, and then
George Thomas, good coverage.
16-yard deflection that Ross Schneiderman just told us. That thing had some energy behind it.
Man who made the defensive play, want to talk about him, 95, is Wilson on 3rd and 10. Throws complete at the 41-yard line. Paul Miller, first down. 21 yards on the play.
Henry Jones was the man in coverage. Top right. Atlanta keeps running out a nice string of receivers. Not a very well thrown ball, but he goes down and gets it. That's a tough catch.
Tough ball to catch. You can see how it was waffling out there. 21 yards on the play. Wilson to the 50-yard line. Nearly 10 more to Jason Phillips, who's had a terrific game for the Falcons. But in this red gun or run and shoot offense, you're going to get receivers with 8, 9, 10 catches. He's got 8 tonight. The Bills taking a look at their number 3 draft pick from Penn State at linebacker Keith Gogenius, number 95. And in the grasp of Phil Hansen is Wade Wilson. Hansen with a sack for Buffalo. It comes with 5:43 left in the 4th period, and Buffalo leading at 13.
Because Hansen was the young man last year who played a lot for Bruce Smith, who played tonight, first series. Didn't look like the world beater he will look like and normally is when he's healthy.
Wilson again, Hansen again. Back-to-back sacks by the second-year man from the Bisons of North Dakota State. He had help from 94 Mark Pike. Ball marked at the 37-yard line. And on 4th down and 13, they're going to go for it. Intercepted. Chris Hale, 40, 30, and out of bounds at the 25. A flag is down as Hale, will that be the 5th turnover for Buffalo?
Holding. Number 66,
yes.
Offense, penalty decline, first down.
Interception will stand. Wilson trying to catch on to this offense. May not be totally familiar with what is in fact going on. You see Pegram there on the left. He's rushed a little bit, but Hale is wide open. The receiver doesn't even see the ball at all. Nice return. Buffalo again has the ball.
Mitsubishi believes that a luxury car should offer something beyond the usual luxuries. It may be extraordinary power and control, a consummate blend of comfort and performance, or a state-of-the-art four-wheel drive system. The 3000 GT, the Diamante, the Montero. Lease the luxury car of your choice. Only $399 a month for 36 months. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Just because you go all out doesn't mean you got to stink. Not if you're wearing this. And here comes your chance to prove it. And you will, because Old Spice works. Man, does it work. Fights wetness, kills bacteria. The proof?
Hey, hotshot.
You're looking at her.
Old Spice antiperspirant for great odor protection. You demand proof, not promises.
At the first tickly itch of athlete's foot, Desonex. Killing those grungy fungi before they get cracking and burning. Go get that can now, or else don't blame Desonex.
There's one battery that backs you with free jumpstart service anywhere, for any reason. Die Hard.
Can't believe I left my lights on.
Sears Die Hard. The battery you can count on to give you more power when you need it most.
She captured the Olympic gold. Now, Jennifer Capriati defends her title at the Mazda Tennis Classic. Courts in session this weekend on NBC.
Olympic champion Jennifer Capriati out at La Costa, California. It's tomorrow and Sunday here on NBC. Gail Gilbert in Buffalo on the Hale interception. Start at the 25 of Atlanta. Tipped in the air and complete. Intended for tight end Vince Morrow, an 11th round pick from Toledo. And the news not all bad just on the scoreboard for Atlanta. It's in the injury column as well, with Scott Case, starting safety, a thumb fracture. Eaton, his replacement, a sprained knee. Oscar Giles, only a sprained ankle and what seemed like an incredible dislocation of that ankle.
I don't know how that's just a sprained ankle. There are others missing through here for the Atlanta Falcons.
Gilbert to Chris Walsh, and Walsh, the rookie, is to the 5-yard line, and flags are down.
Yeah, he catches the ball, and there's also interference on the defense. Walsh did an excellent job of getting away from the defender.
Well, he's a long shot to make this talented Buffalo roster.
Holding, 27, defense, penalty decline, first down.
That's William Evers. But Walsh might just be winning a spot somewhere.
Here's Walsh, and once he jumps inside of the defender has no choice but to hang on. Walsh keeps running and makes the catch. 5th catch of the night, 54 yards.
Got good size, 6'1" and 185. Well, he doesn't have that blazing speed. If he doesn't make Buffalo, he might attract interest somewhere else in the NFL. Underneath it goes tomorrow, the tight end, and he fights down to the 1-yard line with his 251 pounds. Former player at Youngstown State before transferring to Toledo. He was a terrific basketball player. Here's the missing Falcons. Sanders, 81 catch, Andre Rison, and Bob Whitfield, their #1 draft pick, a teammate of Chris Walsh at Stanford, a big tackle, hasn't signed. And then Rady with a starting linebacker knee surgery. Gann, a fractured thumb. Pritchard, he probably, and Brousseau just being rested. They'll be ready to go on opening day.
Brousseau has a slightly separated shoulder, but not most of training camp, but should make the opening day roster.
2nd and goal.
Fumble.
And a fumble, and Atlanta appears to have recovered. Yes. Michael Reed was in there, number 95, who was replacing Rady at linebacker.
Not, of course, subject to review. Lead block by Griffith, 29. Forward progress stop. Knee was not down, but it's ruled a fumble recovery.
Reed with the recovery. Rod Sadler, 94, appeared to deliver the blow from the side that knocked it free.
I wonder how this season is going to go without an instant replay.
Well, I think for those of us who like the flow of the game not being interrupted, we have to trust that the officials are usually right. And no one's perfect. We tried to make an imperfect world perfect with the instant replay, and we saw even the instant replay was wrong sometimes. They may have admitted that. In fact, Mr. Trumpy, there were over 500 reviews last year. There were some 80-some or 90 reversals, and 1/8 or 1/9 of those they now decided were reversed incorrectly. So even then there were mistakes made. So why not let the officials call it, accept their call, and go on with the game? Why try to make it perfect?
Mr. Enberg, being a proponent of the instant replay, I don't think you throw out the system because it's incorrectly utilized. I think with our technology, there are going to be instances in this season, as there have been in every season, where it cries out for a mistake corrected. I wasn't bothered that much by the interruptions. The league told us that the average stoppage of play last year with instant replay was 1 minute and 40 seconds. That's after they had instituted the 2-minute clock.
Maybe it was just my games where it seemed so much longer. And I really delighted in when they stopped the play about now on a play when it's like 3rd and 15 and there's a 3-yard gain. They stopped to review it to see. I mean, there were times.
No argument.
Flag goes down. I just think that no, announcers aren't perfect.
False start before the snap, 65 offense. Half the distance, still third down.
Players make mistakes, coaches make mistakes, officials make mistakes, announcers make mistakes, the world makes mistakes. Sure. What you want to do is reduce it down where it isn't ridiculously costly to anyone. Basically, when you've watched a lot of games, the officials aren't wrong very often, and the obvious area doesn't come up very often. Do we want to sacrifice all that time, what I think is all that time, to try to get that 1 or 2 or 3 crucial plays?
I agree with you, but in your list of mistakes, it might also be that ownership in the league made a mistake because the competition committee voted to keep instant replay. Ownership overruled the competition committee.
That's James Patton, the rookie from Texas. But you know what, Bob? I think probably it'll be back next year, mostly because we're going to replay close plays and show that officials do make mistakes, and there'll be the cry from everyone, from fans to, and it's the coaches who really want it. It's the coaches who really want instant replay because they don't want to lose a job because of an official's call, bad call.
I think that's only reasonable. This is Patton who, going through there, his leg seems to crumble. Here's Patton right here, and watch when he goes through the line of scrimmage. He's on Bill Fralick 79, and it looks like he just gets thrown a little bit, but I can't really tell what in fact happened to the ankle. I can tell you this: there have certainly been instances. I'm not accusing any coaching staff that we're watching here, but there certainly have been instances where players have told son, go out there and get a concussion. We like you, but we don't have room for you. I'm not accusing Mr. Patton of that. That has happened in the league quite often. Get a concussion.
Why do you look at me and gesture so violently when you make that point?
I want you on my side when it comes to instant replay? No, I'm not accusing. Don't show me Marv. I'm not accusing Marv Levy of doing this.
You're on your own, big boy.
But we're going to see Marv in 2 weeks now. Somebody's going to tell him this. Get a concussion.
Well, that's, in other words, what you're saying is that when you're coming down to the final 47 and you want to keep a player, you don't want to lose him, and he's a fairly decent prospect, no room for him, that an injury at this time means you've got about a 4-week buying period, or maybe even a whole season where you can develop him on injured reserve. And that you say does happen.
It's a compliment to the player. It's against league rules, but it's a compliment to the player.
Somehow, I'd have trouble with that if my coach came up to me and said, Enberg, get a concussion. I'd say, Coachy, baby, do you mind if I do something, maybe a groin pull? How about
okay, pick the injury. I just said a concussion.
Let's hope we're not making folly here while this talented player, James Patton, is seriously hurt. He appears to be okay, and let's hope that's the case.
They are taking him to the locker room.
This weekend, NBC Sports serves up some great women's tennis. It will feature the smile of Jennifer Capriati. It was one of the highlights of the Olympic Games to see this 16-year-old who's had some ups and downs the last year, play so magnificently, win the gold medal. You'll see her in action at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 noon Pacific time, both Saturday and Sunday in the Mazda Tennis Classic. Bud Collins and Chris Everett are out there in beautiful Acosta, California for the live coverage.
Jennifer beat Steffi Graf, right?
In the final.
She was utterly shocked, I thought. Her reaction was utterly shocked that she won that gold medal.
Other than Bud Collins, not many people picked Capriati over Graf, but he had the winner. From the 25-yard line, first down, Atlanta. Wilson underneath. Thomas, who can fly. Corralled at the 45-yard line of Buffalo. A 30-yard play.
This is called a slip screen. Thomas, with his great speed, can execute this thing to perfection. Again, you're going to see the offensive lineman come out here and make the first hit on Hale, 26. And the idea is receiver gets back out to the sideline.
Atlanta.
Outstanding lightning speed, and he makes a big gain out of it.
Matt Darby, the rookie from UCLA, the tackler.
Watch the way this happens. The idea is step up here. Linemen pull out. They try to make this first block. You take it here and then cut to the outside. It requires a little timing, a lot of speed. There's the slip. You slip underneath the defensive lineman. Well executed by Atlanta. It's a play they ran last year. This preseason, they've done an excellent job on it.
And the lineman, you don't have to make a big block. No. It's almost a brush block when you have that kind of speed.
You're told, release the guy to the outside of you. Go up underneath him. That's why it's called a slipstream.
They mark it just inside the Buffalo 46-yard line. There's just under 3 minutes to go, and Atlanta has spent a timeout.
I can't believe we were 3 quarters together and already calling me Mr. Trumpy.
That's mother calling you Robert.
Yes, Robert. I'm in trouble.
On first down, Wade Wilson from the shotgun. The quick throw. Is he inbounds? Yes. First down at the 32-yard line. Now there's a play with instant replay they might have reviewed. Very close on the sidelines. I'm satisfied. Now we see the replay, and he was in.
It's a catch. But I thought replay showed the officials in a very good light. But without the replay review, I think television will show plays like that a little less often. But I don't think because we can't add another angle to them, I don't think we'll show them as much. But I thought the instant replay showed the officials in a very good light.
Pegram. He carried the ball more than any Falcon rusher last year, just over 100 carry. It's a team that says on one hand they'd like to run the ball more effectively, and June Jones, the offensive coordinator, told us that, and yet Jerry Glanville on the other hand was saying we just run for attitude. Yeah. We're going to throw it and throw it and throw it long.
Yeah, but he also said I am not in love with any particular offense, meaning to run and shoot. I'll use whatever might work.
Down goes Wilson as Hansen has his 3rd sack of this 4th quarter. Phil Hansen from Oaks, North Dakota, to North Dakota State, a school that produced one of the top linebackers of the last couple of generations, Steve Nelson, for the New England Patriots. And Earhart was his coach.
Fargo was his nickname.
Wilson, the veteran, scrambling. Always could run well and has a first down inside the 20. And that comes at the 2-minute timeout, a 17-yard gain, 27-14 Buffalo.
Eclipse, noun. The motion of one heavenly body passing in front of another. An eclipse occurs only with the perfect alignment of arcs and curves and angles. Eclipse, verb, to surpass, to leave others behind. Eclipse for 1992. From Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. You may also lease a base model Eclipse for as little as $500 down and $149 a month.
What? What are you thinking about?
No, nothing.
Tell me.
It's stupid.
Oh, it's okay. I want to know, really.
I was just thinking, you know that cord I got that goes into the back of the cassette player? It may be too short.
Newlyweds Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. Mad About You, Wednesdays this fall after Seinfeld on NBC.
You know that cord in the back? You're right, it's too short.
That's what I'm thinking.
Along with Gail Gardner, Dick Enberg with Mr. Trumpy. 27-14. It's been fun, and I hope we can spice up our games with some fun, although in these preseasons we can take more liberties. And Buffalo showing early that they're going to be serious about defending that AFC crown.
My concern is for Jeff Wright, the nose tackle. How well or how quickly Bruce Smith comes around to his form, and how soon they're going to get Bennett back in and sign. Those are my major concerns for this defense.
Who else do you like in the AFC? Who might be a real serious contender?
Denver. I like Denver, and I like their defense.
Houston?
Houston, you got to like. Kansas City, you got to like. I think the acquisition by Kansas City of Dave Craig is one of the most astute, absolutely astute acquisitions by a football team in the last 10 or 15 years.
He's a good fit.
Yeah. He can't carry a football team, but he can run a football team like very few quarterbacks can. So there's 4 or 5 choices, I think, in the AFC.
Well, despite all the turnovers, Jim Kelly got Buffalo off to the early 14-0 start with a 6-for-7 first quarter, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Atlanta touchdown away from making this a 6-point game. Wilson to Jason Phillips. Oh, is he drilled at the line of scrimmage as he tried to come inside and ran into Manny Hendricks, number 30. Hendricks was a basketball player in college at Utah. And that would have been some kind of screen out there.
That again was the slip screen. This time Buffalo blew it up before it got started.
Wilson. Hansen was right there again, and Pegram picks up the loose ball back at the 26-yard line as the clock runs at 1:25 and a timeout. Our thanks to the men and women who brought you this, our final preseason game on NBC. Jerry Glanville's favorite crew, the executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill, coordinating producer of NBC Football, producer of tonight's telecast, John Faratzis. Tonight's telecast was directed by John Gonzalez, associate director Jeff Simon, production associate Ed Fibishoff, technical manager Alan Shear, production manager Willetta Demet, technical director Mitch Geller. Thanks to Ross Slingshot Snyderman, Wes Attia, and Kim Anderson here in the booth.
By the way, you know, we said earlier that Jerry Glanville was looking for a sponsor for his stock car. Our 800 number has not been ringing here. We've had no one volunteer to.
One fella did call and had a black and red hubcap, and I'm not sure that's what Jerry's looking for. But yeah, actually, he's very proud of the fact that he raced a lot better than the veterans thought he could. And what did he say? He's in the top 50?
Top 50, and they couldn't believe it. And one of the pictures he has, he's proudest of on his wall, is he and Dale Earnhardt going through a corner together.
On 3rd down and long, Wilson almost intercepted by Chris Hale, who has one tonight. Hale, in his 4th year from Southern California. He was a 2-time California high school long jump champion, 5'7" and 170, and the kind of size that in your day, Bob Trumpy, would never have been able to make it at cornerback in this league. But now they can because of these offenses.
My generation of professional football player, when it came to receivers, we had to contend with the likes of Mel Blount. He kind of dictated to offenses for several years. If you're going to play in this game and be Pittsburgh, you need big receivers. Little receivers really got hammered.
On 4th down and long, Wilson to the end zone. Touchdown! Nope. Flag is down. Thomas had it. No signal for a touchdown. He had it for a moment. Gee, if we only had instant replay, we could tell you.
Wait a minute. We still have no call from the officials.
Except that we have a flag in the end zone.
Flag down. It's going to be on the 1-yard.
Interference.
Yep.
Number 43, defense in the end zone. It will be 1st and goal on the 1-yard line.
Matt Darby committed the foul. 1st and goal at the 1.
He's putting up with a great deal of speed here. Boy, Thomas pushes him first. There is no question about that.
Darby, though, didn't look to the ball, and that's the key. The officials are going to allow those defensive backs contact, but they must be looking back for the ball, and Darby, a rookie, wasn't.
Yep, rookie mistake.
So with 1:14 left in the game, it's Pegram diving to the goal line and stopped just short. Mark Maddox.
I still see Bill Fralick in there on the ground. Jerry Glanville is calling timeout. Bill Fralick is still in there. Offensive guard.
The 3rd timeout spent by Atlanta. There's Fralick, a number 1 draft pick from the University of Pittsburgh, 4-time Pro Bowler.
Jerry Glanville has really granted him tonight, hasn't he? He has been in there a bunch.
Going to be in condition for the opener.
He is.
So it'll be 2nd and goal from just inches away with 1:03 left, and Glanville hoping that they can get a quick score out of timeouts. Obviously an onside kick. They've tried 2 of those already.
One worked, one didn't.
Well, one worked, but only the injury to the Falcon player allowed Buffalo to recover anyway. It's been a 95-yard drive engineered by Wade Wilson late to get the ball almost tickling that goal line.
Well, with no timeouts, you need to score this play. And you can't spend
Got to throw it, even though you're on the 1-inch line.
Couple of plays. You can't spend a couple of plays here trying to get it in.
And the throw it is. Touchdown. Jason Phillips again. What a night for Jason Phillips. 11 catches, 2 touchdowns.
They've got tandem flankers here just to the right. The entire offense goes to the left. Henry Jones, number 20, is the closest man in coverage, but well-designed offensive play there. 2 flankers setting to that side of the scrimmage, that line of scrimmage.
Try for point by Norm Johnson. And the former UCLA kicker makes it 27-21 with 1:03 left. They had added 3 seconds onto the clock, and so that explains why it's still 1:03 remaining.
Wide receiver, running back, and then two receivers sitting right here. Watch the little game they play to get Phillips open. Everybody fakes to the left. They allow the man to go through. He's totally uncovered. Very well designed goal line play by the Atlanta Falcons. Worked to perfection.
Now the onside kick. I bet as a player you love to be on these situations.
No. Not in the last exhibition game.
That's when you know you're standing. Get out there on the onside kick crew, where we're going to have 11 men against 11, only 10 yards apart.
But now wait, the hands team is established early in training camp. Normally very sure-handed people are put up front, receivers, running backs, and things of that nature. But there's just, you know, in 9 days we open, guys. I don't want to get broken apart here.
So 27-21, and the Falcons hoping for a kind bounce that would give them a chance for another possession. They were down 24-0 when Fuller scored early in the 3rd quarter, and they've rallied to 27-21.
Look at who they have on the front line. Walsh. They have Griffith. They have a tight end. They have Chris Hale. They have a lot of sure-handed people, and Norm Johnson likes to onside kick it this way.
Look at that pack of black on the near side.
Whoa, it's free. Now they got it.
Buffalo recovered.
Now, Dick, an interesting thing about these onside kicks. If that ball is kicked in the air, the receiving team can fair catch it. That's why you see all these onside kicks kicked into the ground. Watch the way this ball bounces. It's gotta.
It didn't go 10, but it doesn't have to, because the receiving team touched it first. And that's becoming more and more a technique, not waiting the 10. How often did you see the receiving team wait the 10 yards until the ball came to them? The play and the receiving team is what Buffalo has done tonight. Attack that ball, get it on a good bounce. Kurt Schultz, who had an interception earlier and a fine one, made the recovery at the 44. Now it's Academic with a minute to go, and Atlanta without a timeout. It's a couple of kneel downs, and the preseason is over for these two teams. Atlanta will be 1-3. Buffalo 2-2. 2-2 season, and the preseason for the Bills is outstanding. They normally leave with a losing record. Jim Kelly leaving with his regards to the Atlanta faithful. Bruce Smith got a chance to play.
He's going home too. He's going back to Virginia Beach, taking Thurman Thomas with him. Going to see the family before he has to go back to Buffalo.
See Papa George. He said he surprised his dad. Who there's Andre Reed, who got the 41 touchdown catch earlier. His dad, George Smith, amateur boxer. He took Evander Holyfield, who's a resident here of Atlanta, back to surprise him, and he said, boy, that just made Dad really healthy. Thurman Thomas didn't get a chance to see him. We'll see plenty of him when the bell rings a week from Sunday. Darryl Talley and all the rest of the Bills, 27-21. Join us tomorrow on NBC Sports starting at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific, for the Mazda Tennis Classic, followed by live coverage of the Miller Lite U.S. Volleyball Championships. And later tonight on NBC, following your local news, it's The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, and Bob Costas will be one of his special guests. And then Late Night with David Letterman and Friday Night Videos. For Gail Gardner and Bob Trumpy, this is Dick Enberg at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. So long from Atlanta, where Buffalo wins it 27-21.
Get to know the people of Europe with the U.S. airline that flies to more European cities than any other. Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
The preceding has been a presentation of NBC Sports.
It's Tough Guy Weekend. Sunday, Robert Stack, his legendary role, the return of Elliot Ness. And Monday, Ray Sharkey in the revenge of Al Capone. Two tough guys, two great nights on NBC.
This is a railroad tanker. This is the taste of the Rockies. Tanker, Rockies. Actually, a concentrated form of Coors Light leaves Colorado in a tanker and travels to Virginia, where local water dilutes the Rockies concentrate before it's sent to you. So what's it gonna be? The Rockies concentrate or an ice-cold natural light that leaves our local breweries fresh and ready to drink? Like this. Not like this. So drink fresh, cold natural light and don't be railroaded.
McCain introduces something new to serve with your fries.